Did you know that my superhydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Let's go. It is the Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, Seattle Sports app, and all the podcast platforms. Couple of thoughts on that. First of all, on those podcast platforms, specifically Apple Podcast, we haven't had a review in like a month. Almost a month.
I thought maybe you just fell behind on catching us up on them.
No, I don't know what's going on. I don't know whether people have stopped listening via Apple Podcast. I don't know whether the Android users have formed some sort of cyber attack in order to keep our reviews away, like what happened last night with the DODS attack or whatever it was. Yeah, I read about that. Now I learned all about it. I don't know what's going on, but we haven't had reviews. The last review we had was July 24th. From a disgruntled listener who thought that I was putting Scott Service's job on the line because, like most people, he thinks I've been overly critical of Scott Service. That was from Ronnie DeWeed. And the one before that, you got to go back to like the 17th of July. Great, but will make you nauseous. Look, this is a great show. The chemistry between all four of them is perfect. None of them, I think I read this, right? None of them are the same, and that conflict, but mutual respect causes moments of not only great debate and thoughtful consideration, but true moments of gut laughter. I would happily have coffee with any of them. Brock is endearing. Salk is that friend that you're friends with, but don't really remember how you got introduced in the first place. Justin's gone, and Maura is the show's legit secret weapon. It's always a fun listen. Anyway, there's some problem with the food advertisements, and it's making somebody nauseous. Anyway, we haven't gotten a review there for a long time. We still are at a 4.6 rating out of 5, and if you have a few minutes and you listen via Apple Podcasts, please leave a review with 5 stars. You can say something mean, just make sure there's 5 stars, because I would love one day to reach a 4.7. That would be pretty awesome.
It's been our goal for a minute now.
Oh man, for like going on 3 years, right?
We've been the Salk Show.
Stuck at 4.6. Ugh, it's so challenging.
Well, and leave us some reviews. I'm sad we don't have any. Maybe people have switched to Here's the Thing and leaving the voice.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to mention. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, Maura. That's a perfect transition because we do need to once again remind people that we've probably been plugging this a little bit more because it's new versus the podcast, which is old. Quite frankly, everybody already kind of, we've been talking about that for a few years, and downloading the app is maybe a little bit more of a new thing, although I would think by now people have gone out and downloaded the Seattle Sports app. But when you do, you can leave us these little voice messages that we play Thursdays at 8 o'clock called Here's the Thing. And I was thinking about one of the ones I played last week. And it reminded me of a text that I got just the other day. And I thought I would put these two together and see if we could clear up a problem that seems to be occurring here in Seattle.
Okay.
I'll call it a misunderstanding. There seems to be a misunderstanding. And I'd like to just clear it up. This was Elaine who left us a voice message that we played during Here's the Thing.
So here's the thing. The Larry Sulk rule actually works. Saturday night, I was listening to the game. M's are down, 5-0. I'm in Tennessee, 2 hours difference. So I thought, I'm just going to bed. I wake up the next morning. Woohoo! Mariners won. Sunday, I'm watching the game. Mariners are behind. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to sit here and watch it. They lose. I watch every excruciating minute. Larry Sulk rules.
Okay, so that is Elaine saying that by not watching the game and seeing the Mariners win, she believes she is correctly living out the Larry Sulk rule. Mm-hmm. And I think I mentioned at the time that is not the Larry Sulk rule. That's just some weird decision you've made to watch or not watch the game without a tremendous amount of purpose behind it.
Because she says the Mariners were behind at that time.
Right, she turned it off.
The Mariners have to be ahead for the
That's
lead,
right. So I got this text from Justin, whose friend Sarah, who I think I've met, if it's the right Sarah, had written him and said, I truly cannot believe the Mariners won that game. I think this was the Thursday night game against Detroit. He says, yeah, I'm dying. She says, well, to be honest, I turned it off because Larry Sulk rule, and then the game ended, and I got the notification and truly thought MLB had screwed up the score somehow because they had won. All right, Sarah, you're also not doing the Larry Sulk rule. The Larry Sulk rule cannot, by definition, be done when your team is losing. You're just giving up and turning off the game. Both you and Elaine. That's fine. I don't necessarily have a problem with you giving up and turning off the game, but that's like surrender. You're just surrendering. And that is not, the Larry Sulk rule is much more arrogant than that. Much like my dad. Much more confident than a straight up surrender. You're just saying, I'm out. I can't watch this anymore. I can't bear to watch them lose. And that is totally fine. I'm not criticizing. But it's a surrender. It's not the Larry Sulk rule. So for those who are new or have heard these two misrepresentations of a rule started by my father, I thought I would just bring it back so that everybody understands. Lyle is new. He's new to the show, right? We've just brought Lyle in to replace Justin in some ways. He's going to be running our board, and today he and Charles are both back there with Maura. So hi, Lyle. Hi, Charles. So you guys may not understand or know the Larry Sulk rule. It is based on something my dad started around the late, like 2008, 2009, that era, because he's a Red Sox fan, and that was the Jonathan Papelbon era of closing out games. And my dad decided as he was getting older that he was no longer willing to watch games when the closer comes into the game. He said if the team is up by 2-3 runs and the closer comes in for the ninth inning, just turn the game off. There's no upside in a regular season game. That's another important feature of this. You would never do this in a postseason game. But in a regular season game, you turn it off. The logic is if you win, the closer's just done his job. That's all he's supposed to do. He comes in, he gets 3 outs, you move on, you go to bed, and everything is fine. You're no more happy than if you had just turned the game off a few minutes earlier because you just assume that the guy's going to do his job and win. If the closer blows the game, a couple of things can happen. One, you lose and you're really mad, and now it's like 10:30 at night and you got to go to bed and you can't. And my dad, who's getting older at the time and is still older than that now, says, well, why do I want to get even less sleep than I get? I'm not staying up to be mad. You could, in theory, blow the game but still find a way to win. And he recognizes that that would be difficult to have missed. But whatever, it's a regular season game. You go see the highlights, and it's not really that big a deal. Now, again, all of this changes in the postseason when every game becomes more important. And for him, on the East Coast, these games end late. The Red Sox games at that time were going like 3.5, 4 hours every night. And so it's like 11:30. He's old. He's like, I'm not watching this. I'm out. Larry Sulk rule. And a lot of people have adopted it and come to believe that it is it's just a healthy way to watch a baseball season. But it is not the same as giving up. It is not the same as surrender. And I just want to make sure we're all clear on what the Larry Sulk rule is before we start attempting to claim we're doing it. And Lyle looks disgusted, by the way. He does not look like he's a fan of the Larry Sulk rule at all.
Well, are you walking out of Avengers Endgame when everybody comes back from the blip and you're just out? Like you're basically saying if Thanos wins, you're going to be unhappy, but if the Avengers win, well, they did their job.
I don't follow anything you've just said. I'm totally lost by the entire line of conversation, having never seen the Avengers, but no. I mean, in theory, my dad could start the Avengers at 1:00 in the afternoon in some alternate reality in which he would watch the Avengers. He could start it at a time where he'd be able to make it through the end of it, not late at night where when you lose, you're going to be mad.
Oh, so this is more about going to bed.
Yeah, it's definitely a big part of it. I mean, this is a Sulk family. We value our sleep quite a bit. So, yes, I would say making sure that your sleep is uninterrupted is a pretty key component of the Larry Sulk rule. I appreciate the Avengers shout out. I don't understand it, but it sounds great. It sounds really, really great. Anyway, 505 understands there's no upside in watching your closer blow your evening. Exactly. That's the point. Now, I will say, this year's Mariners team kind of challenges this rule. Because Munoz is so freaking good that if you turn it off before Munoz, you're missing out. What is he at, like 11, 13 straight innings now without allowing a hit? I mean, I know he's not a starting pitcher, so it doesn't count as a no-hitter. It's not all in one game. Guy hasn't allowed a hit in forever. He's been remarkably good. So you're missing out on getting a chance to watch a guy throw over 100 with a ridiculous slider, et cetera. So, yeah, I mean, there's holes in every theory. I mean, this is his rule.
It's also not as late here. Just finish the game.
Huh?
It's also not as late here.
That's
Just finish
true.
the game.
That is true, right? A lot of the games start earlier, and now that they're like, with the pitch clock, they're so much shorter that there's a lot less of an excuse. But he's even older now, so he's going to be, I mean, look, he's in his almost late 70s now, mid to late 70s. So, like, dinner's at 4:30, right? He's eating tapioca. He's got to take his pill routine. He's in bed by 6:30, 7 o'clock so that he can wake up at 3:30 in the morning and start complaining about things. So, yeah, I would say he has his own versions of why he still needs the Larry Sulk rule. Anyway, that's where we're at. If you guys need help understanding, that's how you do the Larry Sulk rule appropriately. And also, please send us some voicemails. We could use them. You got to download the app and send us a voice message. Yes, that is Lyle from the Marine Layer podcast. He's our new guy. He's I don't even know what his title is, but he's here. He's working with us every day, and we're excited to have him. All right, poor content day, spending a segment on some guy's dadisms. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, 907. It is a poor content day, but we're going to make lemonade out of lemons, and we'll start by giving you everything you need to know next.
The Dugout. Go in depth with the Mariners.
Leaps up and he makes the catch.
With voices like Ryan Roland Smith, Gary Hill, and Mike Blowers.
Long-term pitching, if you have that foundation, good things are going to happen.
It makes him so valuable when he's hitting.
This team is a team that's going to have to bunch hits together, put pressure on the defense.
Hear from the players and coaches, and go behind the scenes with insider Shannon Dreyer.
They find a way to grind it out, stay in the game. I thought it was a really good win for them.
The Dugout, Tuesdays at 1 p.m. on Seattle Sports.
Chill or grill on a new deck this season. Get a free Makita Bluetooth radio or portable pellet grill with a qualifying Par deck package purchase. But hurry, offer ends soon. Visit par.com for details. Par, your total home building source. Go where the builders go.
Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
The Puget Sound Boys and Girls Club means a safe place for our kids to grow, to have fun, to build relationships, and become themselves. Because of partners like Boeing, we're able to do a lot. It's super exciting for our kids to know that Boeing volunteers are here to help them, to have fun with them, to create good experiences. It provides a brighter lens for their future.
As a Washington State business, you can take advantage of Labor and Industries' no-cost safety and health consultation program. We can help you build out your accident prevention plan, meet safety obligations, and reduce your risk of costly safety citations. You can have us look at a single item or your entire facility. And consultations are confidential, which means you will not be cited if a hazard is found. You'll just need to fix it, and we can help you with that as well. There isn't a safety question we can't help with. To learn more, visit lni.wa.gov/consultations.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like CertainTeed Landmark Pro, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through November, purchase CertainTeed through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $750. Beacon, always building.
Oh no, your furnace died. Don't fear, call Deere. Deere Services. We'll be there within 3 hours guaranteed. Bookmark DEARservices.net.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
2 things you're looking at when you're shopping for a new car or SUV: choice and exceptional deals. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett and you'll be satisfied with both. Which Mazda moves you? Find out at Mazda of Everett. Choose from over 600 new Mazdas in stock, and right now they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? They also treat you like family and want you to drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
Seattle knows how to hustle.
There it goes! 40, 30!
Every day, we prepare, we grind, and we go to work.
Still on the move! He can go!
Because we live for these moments.
Touchdown! Seahawks!
This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, things sure didn't go as expected here in Seattle last week, so now the Mariners have a chance to return the favor in Detroit. It was just last week we watched, honestly, 2 games and 8 innings of some of the worst baseball we've seen all year, and really in quite some time. Everything was awful. Everything was terrible. Everything was heading the wrong direction, and then it all changed with the walk-off double from Mitch Haniger. The Tigers then went to San Francisco. They scored a total of 8 runs in 3 games, losing 2 of them, while the Mariners swept the Mets. So they will meet again, this time in the Motor City. Kirby, Wu, and Miller, your 3 pitchers for the Mariners in the series. They'll see Tarek Skubal tonight, and then likely a couple of bullpen games, as the Tigers really only have 2 legitimate starting pitchers. I hope seeing someone like Skubal twice in a week maybe helps, right? Get a second look at it. On the other hand, he's been so good all year that we'll see. Mariners starting to establish some momentum again. They really have done that whenever things look bleak, which is great. What they haven't been able to do is sustain it and sustain consistency, winning game after game. Maybe as they've now gotten Julio back, things will start to turn in that direction. Mariners have gotten hot, of course. They've won 4 in a row. Unfortunately, so have the Astros. They win their 6th straight game last night, bludgeoning Tampa. They take a half-game lead in the division as the Mariners are off. They're also looking to add back Justin Verlander soon, as he just made a second rehab start. So that consistency feels even more pressing.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, a day after the country got to see the hilarious, energetic personality of Victor Robles, he was rewarded with a contract extension, going to keep him in Seattle another 2 or maybe even 3 years, set to become a free agent here this offseason. Instead, he gets 2 years, just under $10 million, so about $5 a year. Plus, the team has a $9 million option for 2027 if he plays well. You got to love what he's done in just a very short time here. Jerry DiPoto really impressed when he joined us a couple of weeks ago.
And, our scenery has really been good to him and vice versa. His energy, his tool set. I mean, he hits for power, he runs, he plays defense, and he brings tremendous energy to a team. And, I hate the fact that we're going to play without him today because he's been such a spark plug for us.
It's funny. Robles has not done this for very long. Certainly not long enough to make you believe, okay, this guy's going to be a really good player for the next 2 to 3 years. But it's very low money, so it's very low risk. And the upside is certainly there with a guy who's only 27 years old and was once one of the top prospects in the game. But I think that word energy is what's most important. Victor Robles helps the team, even if he's not hitting leadoff and hitting the way he has for the last month. We've seen it. He's gotten cold again, right? The last week has not been nearly as good as it was for the first month of this Victor Robles resurgence, but because of nonstop energy, because of the defense, because of the base running, he does a whole bunch of things that keep him relevant for any team. Anyway, makes sense for both. Robles gets some guarantee. Mariners get him for a great price. Just for a reference, he's going to make just slightly more than Dylan Moore. So really not like a major commitment on the Mariners' part. Also, though, will make for a crowded outfield heading into next season. Robles, Julio, Arozarena, Raley, Canzone. Haniger's got a player option that I would assume he's going to pick up. You're looking at 6 guys all competing for 3 spots in the outfield. That'll be a very interesting situation to get sorted out.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, Connor Williams, I feel like we've been talking about this guy for a week and a half now, but he is finally a Seahawk. He met with the media yesterday. They're all hoping he's going to be ready to go by week 1 of the season. Had a lot of success at both center and guard in this league, but available because of his injuries, and obviously suggests the team feels good enough about him that he could be a starter right away. How does he describe himself?
I guess I try to pride myself on being an aggressive, fast, physical player, and I think this is a great place to do that.
Very simply, doesn't say a lot. He's an offensive lineman. It's not a surprise that the cuts from him are all 5 to 10 seconds long. That's generally about all those guys want to talk at any one time. How different does it make the team? Honestly, the reason we've been talking about this for a week and a half, this could be huge. This could be an enormously important signing if he's able to stay healthy. Look, this team has 2 question marks, right? 2 big ones. One is offensive line, and especially the interior of that offensive line. The other is whether or not they have enough star power at the top. But Williams should, in theory, legitimize the interior of this offensive line. Certainly makes it a whole lot better and a whole lot more solid than it was maybe a week or so ago. Seahawks leave for Tennessee yesterday. They will start full padded joint practices this week. Mike McDonald excited for that.
There's an argument for that. For the guys that get the most reps, like the starters probably won't play in the game. They'll get the majority of the practice reps. We'll get the 3s out there as well. So there's a method behind the madness. But yeah, you shouldn't see a lot of the starters on Saturday.
Oh, good. Well, that'll be great. Nobody wants to see any of the starters anyway. By all means, let them practice hard against Tennessee, but let's not see them. Nobody here in Seattle has any interest in seeing what they would look like. All right,
Want to start complaining about what channel it's going to be on already?
What channel is it going to be on?
I don't know.
Is it going to be one that comes to my Fubo?
Why do you care? Because no one's going to play. You're already complaining about that.
No, he's doing the right thing. It's just annoying from a fan perspective. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I get it. They can't play. I've generally been the one to say don't play them. I'm such a nervous Nelly when it comes to injuries that can just totally derail a season. I mean, look what's happening in San Francisco right now. Like every day they announce 2 more guys are having surgery on some portion of their leg. Like every day. The Niners are walking wounded right now, or not walking. They're just sitting because none of them can walk.
23 players.
That's insane, right? Meanwhile, you look at the Seahawks and you're like, they're almost completely healthy, right? Everybody is good to go. I mean, you got a couple guys who've been nicked, but nobody has had major problems that are going to last a while. So Yeah, I mean, there is a huge argument for just trying to play the game of not losing players. Yeah, let everybody else get hurt and just wait. Game of attrition, right? Anyway, that's what we should expect this week. We'll talk to Brady and to Dave Wyman. Both of them are there throughout the week, so we'll get some perspective on what those practices look like probably tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, once they actually get underway. All right, let's see. All right, coming up, we're going to go around the station from yesterday, maybe even a little bit around the world of sports. I'm going to laugh my butt off at one of these. I got about a 30-second cut to play you from a big time MLB insider who just discovered the Mariners existed because they were on Sunday Night Baseball. That's one of many things coming up next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball.
The relay to first is in time for the double play.
Every strikeout.
Strike three called and the ball game is over. The Mariners win it 12-1.
Every home run.
Swing and a drive. Deep to right center. That baby's way gone.
Every Mariners win.
Goodbye, baseball.
Stream every game at seattlesports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here. Love telling you guys about my story of how I worked with Crawl Pros. They were great. Came out to my house, did the whole corner-to-corner inspection thing, and really helped with some stuff going on in our attic. But this is the time of year that one of your problems could be bugs, and maybe more specifically, the stinging kind. Bees, wasps, hornets. Sound familiar? Any of them making a nest or a hive on your property? If so, as you know, that's a huge nuisance and maybe even dangerous. So don't try to take care of that on your own. Call Pest Pros and have them come out and take away that nest or destroy it professionally before the problem gets bigger and then you or a guest or a kid gets stung. Pest Pros is the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros, and they can use eco-friendly treatments to keep ants, stinging insects, all sorts of critters from making their way into your home or even your yard. So if you're worried about rodents, ants, or other bugs, any issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com to schedule a free inspection. That's gopestpros.com.
Traffic backups are inconvenient, but if your pipes are backing up at home, that's bad. There's only one cure for this pesky problem: the experts at Beacon Plumbing, Heating, Septic, and Mechanical. Trust them to clear your clogs. Stop freaking and call Beacon. 1-800-FREAKIN.
Transform your outdoor space with Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest's leader in synthetic turf solutions for 28 years, serving Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Specializing in residential backyard golf greens, custom play areas, and pet-friendly systems, we create stunning, low-maintenance landscapes for every need. Our artificial grass systems offer unmatched durability and beauty, tailored to your lifestyle. Now through July 31st, beat the heat and save up to $1,000 off your project. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Enhance your backyard with Synthetic Turf Northwest, where expertise meets excellence.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go. With the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology, Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings. Up to $18,500 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
On
approval of credit through LFS. Lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by September 3rd, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Heritage Mechanical and Auto Repair reminds parents to discuss safe traveling tips with your children. Plan a safe, well-traveled route to and from activities with at least one friend. Coach your kids to stay alert and be aware of their surroundings, and caution your children to never accept gifts or rides from strangers. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Heritage Mechanical and Auto Repair. Family owned and proudly serving you since 1998, now in our new location on Suquamish Way Northeast.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Yeah, we're going to buzz around the station here in a moment. Some things that were said yesterday to the other two shows, and actually even some national stuff that I wanted to react to since we got a little extra time. Brock will be in at 7. Got a lot of Mariner conversation today. And yes, also we do have the great Jeff Passan to join us at 8:30 this morning, a regular Tuesday. So Jeff will join us at 8:30. I got some text messages here. 509 says, yeah, I never want to wish injury on anyone, but I'm not crying that the 40 whiners are hurt. All right, first of all, nobody's crying. We're just pointing out that, injuries are a concern this time of year. But more important than that, and 509, I don't mean to make an example of you. I'm sorry to do this. Guys, ladies, everyone listening to that, can we all make an agreement together? Can we stop saying 40 whiners? It's the dumbest, worst joke on the planet.
Wait, you can't say that because you laugh so hard every time about that person that texted in Harbarf. How is that not the dumbest joke?
Here's the thing, Maura. I'm glad you asked because I was going to go there. Here's the thing. Harbarf is so ridiculous that it comes back around from being bad to being funny again.
Oh, full
Does that
circle.
make sense? Yeah,
Okay.
It's gone all the way around the world, and it's come back to be funny. It's obviously not clever or creative. It's stupid, but it's stupid funny. 40 whiners is so stupid, but never quite makes it around to being funny again.
It's too simple.
And as an entire fan base together, I think we should commit to not making dumb jokes. Seriously. It makes us look bad. You think you're insulting the 49ers, but you're not. You're telling on yourself. You're embarrassing yourself. Please, I'm begging all of you. Stop saying, stop writing, stop even thinking 40 whiners. Changing like a part of a word that it's not funny. It's not funny at all. It's the lowest of low humor.
I'm so confused. That's what you did in Ranked all the time. You changed words to try to make
That's
it
a pun, Maura. That's a pun.
What?
Totally different. This is not a pun.
My mind is blown.
Well, there's a huge difference between using words in a clever, different way and just changing it to wine. 40 whiners. Nah. Like, gosh, it's the worst. I'm sorry, 509. Again, I don't mean to make an example out of you, but that's a terrible, terrible line. No more 40 whiners. Let's all agree together to make that stop. Thank you. I appreciate the platform, but I hope to lead us here. I hope to be a leader. What does Brock like to talk about? A servant leader? I want to be a servant leader to all of you today and just help us all shed this terrible, terrible plan of referring to them as the 40 whiners. It's not doing what you think it does. It just makes you look silly. Okay. So anyway, thank you, Maura. That's I knew you would bring back the Harbarf, which would make me chuckle this morning. It's Harbarf is
love that one
so ridiculous. Why didn't we get Jim Harbarf? I'm laughing at it, though, not with it.
937 says more. I was literally just typing, what about ranked? He constantly does it.
Totally different thing. And the fact that you don't get it really says more about you than it does about me. All right, I got some cuts to play from around the station. Let's start baseball. I told you to have a speaking of funny, John Heyman woke up Monday morning and found out that the Mariners have good players, which is awesome. Gotta love him. He was on MLB Now, and apparently he watched Sunday Night Baseball to get his information because now he's all in on Cal Raleigh.
I mean, he is great. 3.6 F WAR. I think that's tops in baseball among catchers, and we don't talk about him enough. I mean, he's an MVP candidate, not for the top. Obviously, it's Judge and Witt and Soto and those guys, but he should be on that ballot somewhere. He has been absolutely terrific, and when you compare him to the other Seattle hitters, he looks that much better. 3.22 pitching ERA with him. Outstanding. Of course, that has something to do with the pitchers. He's second in framing. I mean, this guy is doing everything right, and he has the best nickname in baseball.
Oh, my gosh, this is so great. I mean, he's not like a real MVP. He doesn't play for the Yankees. But other than that, I mean, this is just great. Thanks, John. Thanks for waking up one day and finding out that Cal Raleigh exists. Let me quote his catcher ERA. Get out of here, man. You're right. You don't talk enough about Cal Raleigh. In fact, who was it who recently left him off their top 10 list of catchers? Not MVP candidates, just catchers in Major League Baseball. Yes, the Big Dumper is a great nickname. And yes, he's been criminally overrated. And yes, there are times where it feels like he has carried the offense almost by himself for these Mariners. But you don't get to, like, see it on Sunday Night Baseball and decide all of a sudden that Cal Raleigh's a thing you're supposed to talk about. And by the way, is it even possible you could spend 30 seconds talking about Cal Raleigh without mentioning the names of two Yankees? How is it possible that in a segment on Cal Raleigh, you can't go 30 freaking seconds without mentioning two Yankees?
So I'm convinced he doesn't actually watch any West Coast baseball ever.
There's no chance.
Yeah. No.
Zero. He prints and says what Scott Boras tells him to.
Correct.
He is a lackey. And you know why he ended up talking about Cal Raleigh? Because Scott Boras is his agent. And Scott said, hey, John, please mention my guy Cal. And so he did, because he's a lapdog.
So
and he's always been
Adam
one.
Schefter of MLB.
Except specific to Scott Boras.
Okay.
He also almost like goes out of his way. If you look at his Twitter account, every now and then he'll go out of his way to like trash on the Mariners.
Another Scott Boras thing.
Yeah.
That's just a straight up Scott Boras thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is just, honestly, it is a combined love of the Yankees and inability to think outside the New York bubble with a Scott Boras lapdog thing. Anyway, it was nice of him to notice that Cal Raleigh existed. Brief former Mariner, Yonder Alonso, also on that same show, talking about Cal.
What's cool about him, too, is he's a switch hitter. And when you play with switch hitting guys that play, another position, not catcher, it's very difficult. I mean, you're taking swings right-handed, left-handed, and you're just figuring out your swing at all times. He's got to do that, plus be able to control the running game, being able to control the framing, which is, like you said, 98th percentile, and also taking care of a staff every single night.
It is, he's absolutely right, Yonder. Great point. Something we've talked about a lot, right? Switch hitters take longer to develop. Apparently, so do switch pitchers, right? That was one of the things we learned when the Mariners drafted Saintcha this year, right? Is, hey, if he drops pitching left-handed and only throws right-handed, he's the switch pitcher they drafted, then he will probably make it to the big leagues faster than trying to continue to do both. I don't know what they've decided yet and whether or not he's going to still throw with his left hand. But the idea is, if you want to get there quicker, Just work on one thing. Well, so switch hitting is sort of the same thing. You've got to get your right-handed swing at major league quality, and you've got to get your left-handed swing at major league quality. And oh, by the way, catchers take longer to develop anyway, because all the time that normal position players are spending working on their swing, they've got to take half of that or so and work on the pitching staff. They can't just do the hitters' meetings. They've also got to do the pitchers' meetings. So they are obviously synthesizing a tremendous amount more information. Well, it takes a long time. So Cal had to get himself to major league quality as a right-handed hitter, major league quality as a left-handed hitter, major league quality as a catcher, and oh, by the way, add in the leadership that goes with being a he's done a lot. And it does take a little bit longer to develop, which is why Cal spent maybe a little extra time in the minor leagues than some other young players who are phenoms. But he's got it all figured out right now. The right-handed swing has probably been his biggest difference maker this year compared to the past. Cal's always been a good hitter. Most of the damage he's done before this year has been left-handed. This year, the right-handed swing is like lights out. He's been tremendous against lefties, and that's been an entirely new thing that he's added, and it's not a surprise that it takes a little bit longer. Anyway, Yonder's right. He is very impressive. To do all of those things as a catcher is pretty darn incredible. So, and, it was nice. Maybe he told John Heyman about it, so John found out that Cal existed, and then he could start talking about him. Okay, let's see. I said that some of this would be from the station. Let's do that. Here is Brady Henderson on with Bump and Stacy yesterday, and he was asked about the battle for the fifth wide receiver spot.
You're probably talking about either Derek Young or Laviska Shenault, and you obviously saw both of those guys play quite a bit earlier in that game than D. Eskridge did, which to me is a good sign of kind of where that pecking order stands right now. I thought Shenault had a good game, not just with the 44-yard kickoff return, but he also had, I think, the 2 catches on bubble screens for 31 yards and had a nice gain on an end around. I was looking at his contract. I believe most of his $1 million and change contract is guaranteed. So that tells me that I don't want to say he's a lock. You never know. Like, guys get surprisingly cut all the time. But I would say that the fact that they guaranteed most of his contract suggests that they thought when they signed him that he was going to make the team. And look, Derek Young was a guy they drafted in the 7th round a couple years ago, and he can do a lot of things. You haven't really seen him consistently be a contributor for them, but he is built different, as they say. He's a big guy who can run and who can play special teams and can even do some of that same stuff out of the backfield that we were just talking about. So I would say it's probably between those two guys.
All right, so Brady's looking at it and saying that those two have the ahead of, say, D. Eskridge or some others for the fifth wide receiver spot. Doesn't it seem like both those guys should be on the roster? And not just for their wide receiver ability, but it kind of feels like they're both going to be really important in the special teams world.
Well, Derek Young already has been when he's healthy.
Right.
Like his rookie season, he was phenomenal on special teams, and then he had the core injury last year.
And that's kind of why Shenault is here.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons they brought him in.
So do both those guys end up making the team? And they both do very different things. So if you just sort of look through and think about their wide receiver situation, right? Obviously, you got DK, you got Tyler, and you've got JSN. I mean, put those guys in one category of automatics. They are, as a tandem, one of the best in the league. Great. Okay. Leave them aside. I'm going to put Bobo in the next group. I know he's probably ahead of those other guys, but okay, let's put Bobo. Your next three to me are Bobo and Derek Young and Laviska Shenault, and all three of them provide very different skills and very different roles on a team. And I would think you would want all three of those. Bobo does special teams, as does Derek Young, right, in terms of coverage, blocking, that type of stuff. And both have made big plays in special teams before. And obviously Shenault is supposed to be your kick returner, which all of a sudden takes on much more meaning than maybe it has the last few years.
Well, and a lot of teams right now are doing 2 guys back.
Right. Okay. Well, so it seems like he would be almost an automatic to make this team. Well, then you're going to add in, what do they each do as a wide receiver? Well, Bobo is almost a zone specialist, goal line. He's going to be great. There are just certain spots where using him is an incredibly effective tool for an offensive coordinator. Derek Young does a lot of the dirty work. Like, he's a good blocker. He's kind of a lot of the stuff that Kearse used to do for this offense, different offense, obviously, but for this team where, you would go in and be willing to be the unselfish wide receiver to help other guys get open or to help someone like Laviska Shenault break it on a bubble screen. And that takes me back to Shenault, who's got a different characteristic, different trait, which is that he's going to be really good in those bubble screens and, end arounds and those types of plays where you're getting him in space where he can use that quickness that is pretty unique. It's a gift. So, I mean, maybe I'm crazy, but I would think all three of those guys end up making this roster. You go with 6 wide receivers, and maybe you've got to borrow from some other position. Maybe you end up with not as many running backs as you've had in the past when DJ Dallas was here, but also running back kicks. Maybe that extra spot ends up going to Shenault as a wide receiver instead. But we'll see. I don't know. I get Brady's point. I'm not disagreeing with him. It just seems to me like both of those guys would end up on this roster, and then Aesop Winston's going to be, unfortunately, the odd guy out, even though he's played pretty well. Just unfortunately doesn't seem like there's room for him unless he ends up on the practice squad here. You want to keep switching back and forth from football to baseball and back again. I got some Jason Churchill, who I think was also on with Bump and Stacy yesterday. And this is a point that we're going to focus on a little bit greater detail at 7:30. But I just kind of look at where the Mariners are at right now, and he's going to make a point here that this coming off season is very important. I'm going to add that I think that they are primed and ready for a very intriguing and maybe active offseason. Here was Churchill yesterday.
We're going to start running out of time when it comes to the huge advantage that Cal Raleigh is at the salary they're paying him. Same with George Kirby, same with Bryce Miller, same with Brian Wu, same with Logan Gilbert. And Gilbert and Raleigh at the top of that list with Kirby right there with Cal. You're getting into arbitration years where you're starting to pay these guys a lot more. And because nobody in the world believes this ownership's just going to keep raising payroll to meet the arbitration demands or the contract extension demands of every young player that they bring up, somebody might have to go. And you have to reshuffle your roster. And we may even see something like that, this winter. But you're going to start running out of time. You're going to have to pay these guys and pay these guys big. So take advantage of that now. It's almost like the rookie quarterback.
Yeah, he's right. The rookie quarterback is a good example, right? You know that the big payday is coming. So how do you win while your rookies are on their rookie contract? Well, baseball's similar. It takes a little bit, it's different for each player. You get your 3 years of major league minimum, essentially, and then you get your 3 arbitration years, and then things, go to free agency from there. Well, based on what they've done early in their careers, these guys are going to start getting paid in arbitration. And Kirby and Gilbert, those guys are going to make some serious money as they make it to arbitration. I think Logan starts that next year. And, the price tag's going to start going up. This is where, John had said that some of the moves they were making were in preparation for these guys to start making money down the road. I've said before, I don't get too bent out of shape about free agent spending on other teams' free agents. I don't think that's a great way to build your ball club. I think you're taking a major chance anytime you bring in someone from the outside. Sometimes you get, Corey Seager, who's been phenomenal. Sometimes you get Trevor Story, who's played like 7 games in Boston. Sometimes you get Marcus Semien, who's been really good and helped them win a championship last year. And sometimes you get Chris Bryant, who's played 12 games in Colorado. Like, to me, that is a complete crapshoot. But your own free agents? Totally different. I feel very differently about that. And for everyone who says, Sulk doesn't care about spending money and this and that, shill for ownership, maybe you can say all those things. It's my opinion on free agents from the outside versus guys that you've developed on the inside. And I think it is incumbent on teams when you've still got a player that's going to be productive into free agency. I don't need you to overspend for their age 40 season. But for guys like Kirby, guys like Gilbert, guys that you think are going to be major parts of your future, I do think that that's where ownership needs to step up and keep the guys that are part of your base. So anyway, that's kind of what's on tap for the Mariners. But this offseason becomes fascinating to me. Maybe more interesting than the last couple, and I know that the last 2 have both been very interesting. And I know that we do sort of have a habit in radio of saying, this is going to be the biggest ever. And, maybe we overdo it. Maybe we oversell it sometimes. I'll acknowledge that first. But think about this offseason. I just mentioned how you now have six outfielders under contract for next year. 6 guys that you think are professional quality, right? You just signed Robles. Obviously, you got Julio. Arozarena is here for 2 more years. And Luke Raley's here for like 5 more years, 4 more years, something like that. Mitch Haniger's probably going to pick up his player option because why wouldn't he? It's like $15 million, a lot more than he'd make in the open market. And then you also have Dominic Canzone, who, you traded for, and has actually done some nice things when he's been healthy this year, and he's a left-handed complement. You can be able to fit all 6 of those guys on your roster at once. I mean, maybe you end up with Raley as a first baseman. Maybe 1 or 2 of them are, going to be more DH. But, maybe you move on. Maybe you maybe you're going to eat the money on Mitch Haniger after this year and just say, hey, we love you, but there's just not room for you in this roster at kind of the way you've hit over the course of this year and where your knees are at, et cetera. So I don't know. I don't know how you work through all of that. But whereas your outfield feels very crowded heading into next year, your infield does not. You got plenty of opportunities if you want to try to improve, honestly, maybe all 4 of your infield positions or some of them to try to move some things around. If you want to play Raley at first, you could certainly do like a Raley-Locklear platoon at first base if you think Tyler Locklear is ready for regular at-bats next year. Or if you want to go out in the trade market, you could absolutely take a look at someone like Vlad because you didn't give up any of your top prospects at the trade deadline this year. So if you want to start to revisit some of those ideas, the offseason's a good time to do it. If you want to go into free agency, or let's say you want to go get Bo Bichette for the same reason. Okay, go trade for Bo Bichette. He becomes your shortstop. Certainly you could move J.P. Crawford to second base, let Polanco go, and you've improved your infield. You want another way you can do this? How about Brendan Lau, who is a second baseman who the Rays may end up moving on from? We'll see. Let's say they do. He's got a team option, I think at $10 million for this year. They move on from him, and now you can sort of lock in second base and improve your team that way. There's a bunch of ways you can do it. There was a third baseman I was thinking about also that could be a possibility that you go after. And you know who it is? My favorite. My favorite free agent on the market. This is going to make people mad because he plays for the Lastros, but Alex Bregman.
Oh yeah, people don't like when
the Lastros are there with the 40 whiners.
He's your favorite free agent over Juan Soto?
Well, favorite free agent within reason.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to get Juan Soto. Certainly not after we just talked about the 6 outfielders that they have. The time to get Juan Soto was last offseason, and they didn't do that. Juan Soto's going to stay in New York. I mean, I'm just writing that off. It's like Aaron Judge a few years ago. Like, it's fun to mention, but he's not actually a real possibility here, nor is he, unfortunately, at this point, really fit. I think they've moved on from that idea. Outside of that, Bregman going to be 31, plays the game like an animal, would be phenomenal for clubhouse culture here. Plays third base. You could move Rojas to second, where I think his bat plays a whole lot better than it does at third. Man, you could really have a conversation about Alex Bregman. Now, maybe the Astros just lock him up and, this never ends up coming to fruition, but that's a guy I could have a real conversation about this offseason. So, yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can do it. I mean, depending on how you want to recreate and reimagine this offense, because you didn't deal any of your top prospects, gosh, the sky's the limit. You want to go Vlad? You want to go Bichette? You want to go Lau? You want to go Bregman? I just gave you an option at first, second, short, and third. So whichever part of your infield you feel like upgrading, there's a possibility for you. If you want to deal one of your young outfielders, if you think that there's a market for Canzone that can bring, okay, maybe that's something that you can now do because you've got 6 guys all in the outfield kind of ready to go. Puts you in a very unique position to do what you want to do this offseason. And I find myself very, very excited about those possibilities. So there's a little trip around the station and around the world of sports this morning. We didn't even really get to the Jets. What's going on with the Jets, Maura? What's up with the Jets?
I mean, it's pretty normal Jets stuff, isn't it?
No, the Winnipeg Jets. What's going on with the Winnipeg Jets? No, the New York Jets. What's going on with them? Hassan Reddick's not going to play?
Yeah, they traded for a big acquisition and then apparently didn't have any plans to pay him, and he's not happy about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
Sounds like a Jets thing to
Yeah,
do.
it kind of does. 509's back. 509's very upset. I get it. I called you out on the whole 40 Winers thing. Wow, Salt's really laying into me saying 40 Winers, but I don't say Lastros. I say those cheating scumbags. Okay, well, that's funny. Lastros is dumb. So is 40 Winers. Both of those things are dumb. And I just think if it's us, like we should just make an agreement as a fan base together to just stop sounding silly. I don't think that's too much to ask. Don't sound silly. Don't say 40 Winers. Don't say Lastros. Find other ways of making your point. You're better than that. We'll come back. Brock is ready to go, and I know he's going to have an opinion on where the Mariners are at right now. If I were to ask you this question, Maura, don't answer it now. What is the Mariners' record right now today through, 119 games versus what it was a year ago? Think about it for a moment. We'll be right back with the answer. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The Mariners put some people on notice. If you haven't been paying attention.
You know who I hope was paying attention? Whoever's putting together these top 10 catcher lists over the last 2 seasons. Because over the last two seasons, when we've seen top 10 catcher lists, they have not included Cal Raleigh. Well, Cal Raleigh just became the first MLB catcher with 3 consecutive seasons of 25 or more home runs since Mike Piazza, or as they say in Italian, Curtis.
Mike Piazza.
Thank you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The Puget Sound Boys and Girls Club means a safe place for our kids to grow, to have fun, to build relationships, and become themselves. Because of partners like Boeing, we're able to do a lot. It's super exciting for our kids to know that Boeing volunteers are here to help them, to have fun with them, to create good experiences. It provides a brighter lens for their future.
Front Row Card Show is coming to Seattle. Join us at the Doubletree Hotel SeaTac on August 17th and 18th.
Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards.
Plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC will be there. So bring your cards and comics to sell, trade, or get them graded.
Hundreds of vendors, including pristine auction.
Thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, Doubletree Hotel SeaTac. Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com.
That's frontrowcardshow.com.
Roof now, pay later. Hi, I'm Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. Take advantage of our 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to a year. We've partnered with leading lenders to make the replacement or repair of your roof affordable. Flexible financing options are available to take the worry out of an unexpected expense. Call us today at 866-ROOF-ROOF to schedule a free no-obligation estimate or visit us at stateroofing.com. That's stateroofing.com.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
Fall is near and it's time to break the huddle by taking advantage of Toyota of Kirkland's lifetime powertrain warranty. With a roster of over 70 Tundras and Tacomas, come scout the phenomenal team at Toyota of Kirkland. They'll pass you the keys so you can test drive your vehicle and take it to the house that same day. Big-time players make big-time plays at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit them today at their incredible showroom or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Start warming up your vocal cords. Mariners Sing-Along Fireworks Night is on deck Friday, August 23rd. After the Mariners take on the San Francisco Giants, get ready to belt your heart out during an unforgettable postgame show presented by T-Mobile, featuring timeless classics and today's hits. It's your chance to put your karaoke skills to the test under the bright lights of T-Mobile Park.
Julio with a 2-run home run, and they have taken the lead.
Visit Mariners.com to get your tickets and catch 2 great shows for the price of 1. Mariners baseball and a fireworks spectacular. Plus, check out all that's happening at T-Mobile Park, including 3 straight Mariners value games, Monday, August 26th through Wednesday, August 28th against the Tampa Bay Rays, with tickets starting at just $10.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3. Andres Munoz strikes out the side here in the top of the 9th inning. The Mariners win it this afternoon.
Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Having quality care matters to everybody. So, let's talk about it. Optum Care Washington is healthier primary and specialty care. your doctor can connect you to the care you need with top clinicians in more than 55 specialties, including podiatry, orthopedics, sports medicine, and spine specialists. And if you ever need ENT, breast, or colorectal surgery, you can count on board-certified surgeons. For top local doctors focused on you, connect with Optum at yourhealthwa.com.
Are you looking for a new vehicle? Then discover why Chevrolet of Everett has become one of the very top volume Chevy dealers in the state of Washington. The difference? Better sales, better service, and better selection. My friend Ward Fleischman and his entire team at Chevy of Everett are all about your better experience. So find your next vehicle today at Chevrolet of Everett and tell them Brock Heward sent you. Proud part of the Harnish Auto family. It's Chevrolet of Everett, where a better experience truly awaits you.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Summer may be slowing down, but the deals at Vivid Seats haven't. Whether it's scoring MLB tickets for a night at the ballpark or locking down the biggest matchups for the upcoming football season, Vivid Seats has you covered. With the only rewards program in the game, plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats has something for every fan. Catch the deals you want for the games you crave, all backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of manners.
It doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Brock, I know you're a devoted Luke Arkins fan, as you often use him as your unpaid intern to do some of your research when you need it.
Wow.
What?
Wow. I'm
maybe he's your
looking
paid
at his
intern. I don't know.
I mean, I'm actually on his Twitter right now, writing and scrambling and writing a few things down.
Well, you just got here, right? You're trying to figure out what you want to say today, do a little prep right before the show. Why not rely on Luke to do your prep for you?
Yeah, kind of.
Just jump right in.
Sure.
Yeah. By the way,
what?
You would never say 40 whiners, right?
No.
It's stupid.
Yes.
It really is lame. It's the lamest joke I've ever heard. 40 whiners.
And that was kind of more Jim Harbaugh, right? I mean, he was the one that would kind of whine a little bit and cry. Like,
that's Jim
Shanahan's
Harbaugh.
Shanahan's not a baby. Shanahan's not a whiner. John Lynch, they don't really do that anymore. So come on. Yeah, I think I'm kind of with you.
You're kind of done with that? Okay, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, I saw this tweet from Luke Arkins yesterday, and it jumped out to me, as I guess I'm using him for some of my show prep, so shout out to Luke. Mariners record through 119 games. Maura, did you see this yesterday?
I did.
Okay. Well, I'm sure Lyle knows it. Anyway, Mariners last year at this time were 64-55. The Mariners today are 63-56, one game off of their pace from last year. Hysterical, right? For all of the grief that last year's team took, for some of the love that this year's team has received at times, while also obviously being frustrated with their offense, for where our ratings were last year as all of you turned against the Mariners and the bitter anger.
Well, more against you,
and
kind of against you.
Mostly blamed me for their quote-unquote struggles.
Yeah.
Versus,
I mean, rightfully so. As we got our ratings yesterday, I was reminded of what a pill you were for certain stretches of the year last year when
the team had a better record than they do now.
When they were getting better.
Right. You mean when the team had a better record than they do now?
This is not where we were going with this.
The team has had a better record than they do now. Unbelievable that I received as much grief as I did last year, but whatever.
Probably because you had a very condescending way of
yes,
telling people
it was
probably because the fans were being condescending about how they talked about last year's team, and it didn't have any sort of grip on reality. But whatever.
It was much more of a Salk problem. Let's just be very, very clear.
Clearly, it was a Salk problem.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. Though obviously the AL West has given them a completely different look at it this year because, the Astros and the Rangers haven't kind of run away with it or played as well as they did at times last year. And you've sort of gotten hot and cold at different times this year compared to last year. But you're one game behind last year's pace. So my question for you is, and maybe we've sort of answered it already. We know the answer because of where people are at in terms of listening to the show and other stuff. How do you feel about what and where they are today versus where they were a season ago?
Well, I think one of the reasons that Luke DMs me and we slide into each other's DMs is because I give the full context of that full tweet. And I think what's really important here is the rest of the story. This is back-to-back days. What was the guy's name? Paul Newman?
Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey?
Not Paul
Back-to-back days. Well, not Paul Newman, Paul Harvey. Back-to-back days that I've had to tell you the rest of the story. Because while you were one game better a season ago, you were 7.5 games out of the division.
Mm-hmm.
7.5 games versus, well, the Astros just are deciding right now not to lose. So what are we, a half game back versus 7.5? So you're in this race. You led the race. For the majority of the season, the Astros were basically the Astros and struggling, and you were winning, and you're right in the thick of actually winning this division. If you were 7.5 games back today, Sulk, Mariner fans would be just as frustrated.
Weren't you kind of right in the same spot for the wild card last year? Because maybe Luke needs to give a little more context of where you were in the wild card standings a year ago. I don't ever remember them falling that far out. Maybe they did. Maybe it was 5 games out or so in the wild card. But I don't think it was that far. As we know, they ended up finishing 1 game out or whatever it was when it was all said and done, 2 games out, but won that last day. And yeah, I don't know. I see them as pretty similar. The reason I would say I feel a little bit better today than I would have a year ago has almost entirely to do with what happened at the trade deadline. Right? I just think Jerry crushed the trade deadline. I'm not wild about some of the moves that were made this past offseason. I was never really all that comfortable with some of the offseason moves. Quite frankly, I liked, as dumb as it sounds, last year's offseason better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like what they did at the trade deadline. I love Arozarena. I love the deal. I really like what Justin Turner brings. And I think the 2 relievers you added were mandatory. You needed to do that. You would be screwed right now without those 2 guys. So why do I feel a little bit better now than I would have, say, a year ago? Trade deadline, I think, gives you completely different life, both in terms of the vibe of the team and the belief in them, et cetera, and in terms of the actual players you received. And the other, and maybe I'm crazy, is just Julio. That whatever you've done this year, you've done essentially without Julio Rodriguez. And maybe, it's the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. But I keep expecting Julio to turn into Julio again.
That's interesting.
If and when he does, it is going to completely change the entire outlook of what this offense is.
Yeah, it's interesting that you don't mention within that. To me, I think the biggest difference is you've got 5 dudes that are doing it in ways.
This time last year, you sort of had 5 dudes. They faltered in September.
Wu and Miller were not these dudes last year. They were not getting lefties out, right? They were. The third time through a lineup was problematic. They didn't have the kind of stuff. I mean, they had wow stuff, and both of them came out and wowed. But eventually, the league at this time of the year, you kind of felt like, ooh. It feels like the league's caught up to him a little bit. And I think even about this time, Wu went down or was out and going to, make his return. But just those 5 locked and loaded studs in the top 3 and your 2 real, and Kirby and Logan getting better, adding more, being more dominant than they were even a season ago. So I'd have to say your greatest strength has even been strengthened. So I'd probably lean into that, not to diminish your points.
I think you're right about that. I think it's balanced off by the fact that your offense has been worse.
Yeah, JP and Julio have been non-factors. And a season ago, you were doing what you were doing because JP had a resurrection. JP went to drive line, and JP was driving in the fast lane doing things he'd never done before, right?
And Teoscar got hot for a while, and Suarez was still. I mean, there were some problems, obviously, last year.
Yeah, and Julio came off the All-Star game and had an August that was Babe Ruthian. Plus, I mean, it was
insane.
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all of these things, just sort of a funny way of looking at this year's team compared to last year. But maybe it all comes down to this. What do you expect from Julio in the last 7 weeks of the season or so? I don't know. I don't know how to answer the question.
I think it was 7 days ago that we asked Passan about the American League West. We'll probably do it every Tuesday for the next 6 weeks or so, whatever we got left in this regular season. And I don't think his answer is going to change. It's going to be their pitching. And I think he said last week, it was interesting when we replayed that cut, Sulk, he didn't say Julio goes on a heater the rest of the way. He said Julio goes on a heater in September.
Right.
I mean, I really hope he's a prophet in that way, because I think it's going to take a little bit of time for him to fully get those legs right and that body right and everything right. And as I said to you the other day, I don't know if he's a DH the way that dude is wired and put together. I think he's going to have to get it back on the field and get back to playing, and that will benefit him too. But yeah, I don't know if much changes, man. As Julio goes, this team goes. If you're going to beat these Astros,
but that can't entirely be true. I know we've said that, and in some ways it is. Julio's had an awful year by every measure. The Mariners haven't had an awful year. So I don't know that I can say that. I can't say as Julio goes, the Mariners go.
As Julio goes, the Mariners win the American League West.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that element of they need Julio in order to achieve a higher level. There's no doubt about that. He's the most talented guy on the roster, certainly as an offensive player. But I don't know if I can say as Julio goes, the Mariners go. The Mariners are in first place, or half game out now today. We're in first place yesterday morning, despite getting nothing from Julio. So I can't quite say that. They've added a Rosarena. They've added some guys, that have found. Cal Raleigh has been such a good player this year. The pitching has been so ridiculously good.
Do you like the relays in the Olympics? Do you enjoy watching the swimming relays or the track relays in the Olympics? Because I find myself kind of gravitating towards that. And they put it at the end of the Olympics on the track side of it, the 4x1, the 4x400. It feels like the rest of these guys and your pitching has been so good. It puts you in a position, right? And you're running right alongside Russia. You're running right alongside Poland. I don't know who's Great Britain's usually pretty good this year. Right? You're running right alongside of them. And here we're going to go to the final baton. We're coming down the final lap, coming down the final 25% of the season. And you got to hand it off. And you always put your best guy and your best gal at the very end of that relay to go kick and finish. And it just feels like that's got to be Julio kicking and finishing for this team.
That I think is a phenomenal point. I would totally agree with that. Anyway, that's where the Mariners are at this morning as they get ready to go to Detroit. They're going to lead off Need to Know with a big move they made yesterday. Kind of a surprising move. It's next on Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710 seattlesports.com.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
What two pass catchers are giving the Hawks the most value after watching the film from this Saturday?
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I'm thinking Jake Bobo and Laviska Shenault. They were both on punt cover, punt return. They were on the kickoff cover team. They did just about everything to help this ball club out. 81 is going to play. 81 is an impressive receiver. If you haven't been watching Laviska, man, take a good look at him. Not only when he has the football, but when he's blocking, when he's on special teams.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, it's Mike Sulk here, and I know everyone's trying to get that last little bit of summer squeezed in here. We'll make the most of it with a road trip or some camping, round of golf, whatever it is. The big home project, yeah, if a roof was on your checklist this year, you got to make that happen now, right? The days are getting shorter. Temperatures are decreasing. The window is closing on getting that quick roof replacement done. So don't worry about it. You can still get it done with Riverside Roofing. Here's what you got to do. Go to riversideroofingllc.com, and then you'll see the quick quote prompt there. Enter your info. Riverside will quote you your job. Takes less than 60 seconds. Pretty cool. And putting it off any longer, it's not going to make the problem go away. It just makes it more difficult to deal with. So trust Riverside Roofing with your roof replacement. I did, and you should as well. They're Master GAF Elite certified. They've got the catch-all system to protect your lawn. They're certified Tesla roof installers if you want to go in that direction as well. You can find all the info you need at riversideroofingllc.com. They are the roofing company you can trust.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing. Since 1917.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
Can't fix everything for everybody, but you can be there and listen and try to help with what you can. You're there to support them, and that's the best that you can do.
It's this commitment, this philosophy that represents the LJ way.
This is my life. This is my family's life. The people that work here, they're my family. When something's not right with them, it's not right with us. My wife and 3 kids in the house, there's always something wrong with somebody at all times. And if there isn't, then something's wrong. When you have 388 employees, there's never a day that everything is good everywhere. You have to be okay with that. You have to look at that as opportunities to gain a better relationship with people and help them through what they're going through.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You want to talk about this, Park? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Cantor Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Cantor Diamond. And even though I'm a 4th-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call Cantor Diamond at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at KANTOR Diamond.
Have you recently tried to get a loan to buy a piece of real estate? Are you tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and their endless guidelines? Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, obviously things did not go very well last week here in Seattle when the Tigers were in town, but a chance to return the favor in their building in Detroit. They start tonight. Just last week, we watched, honestly, 2 games in 8 innings of some of the worst baseball I can remember here in Seattle, and then all of that changed with the walk-off double. The Tigers go to San Francisco, score a total of 8 runs in 3 games, and drop 2 of them. The Mariners sweep the Mets and score 22 during that same stretch. Just bizarre, this game. Mariners will throw George Kirby, then Brian Wu, then Bryce Miller in the series. They will see Tarek Skubal tonight, and then who knows, a couple of bullpen games it looks like for the Tigers. Maybe it helps to see Skubal twice in about a week.
I was going to ask you, do you think it does?
Yeah,
over time?
I think it helps.
I mean, I think it has to, right? That at least you've seen it out of his hand. You've seen the way he wanted to attack you. it's kind of like a football game, and when you play the 49ers and twice in 3 weeks, like, okay, here was this game plan. Here's how I went about attacking you. What, the 40-winers? Did I say the 40-winers?
No, you didn't.
49ers.
Just made me think about it.
Yeah.
How stupid it is.
I would have to think that it would benefit the offensive guys that you at least have seen all of the stuff.
And they've seen Kirby, and that may benefit them also. So, we'll see how all of this shakes out. Maybe it benefits you that they didn't see Wu or Miller in that series, and maybe that ends up helping. I just hope that they just take the Tigers more seriously, right? And I'm not going to sit here and rip effort or say that they overlooked them. But now they know that if you don't take that team seriously, they're going to beat you a couple of games and maybe all three. So take it seriously, go there and beat their brains in. It's exactly what they need. Mariners have won 4 in a row. Unfortunately, the Astros have now won 6 straight after bludgeoning Tampa last night. They take a half-game lead in the division, and they are looking to add back Justin Verlander very shortly as he just made his second rehab start.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
A day after the country was entertained by the hilarious, energetic personality of Victor Robles, he was rewarded. Gets a contract extension that's going to keep him in Seattle for 2 or maybe even 3 years. He was set to become a free agent this offseason. Instead, he gets 2 years, just under $10 million, so about $5 million a year, and then the team has a $9 million option for 2027. He really has changed his hitting style a little bit since coming here. Jerry Dipoto, proud.
And credit to our guys, JD and Tommy, they worked on creating a new setup and an approach in the batter's box for Victor, and he really took to it immediately. It's the way he sets up to hit right now is very different than the way he set up before, and there's some Gene Segura in his setup. It's making him much more direct to the ball, and it's allowing him to get to his best swing more often. And
it's working. I mean, he's looked a whole lot different since showing up here in Seattle.
2-year deal, club option on that 3rd year. So this is a win-win. It's a win for Robles that he gains nearly $10 million in security for him and his monkeys. It is a win for the organization because you create goodwill in that clubhouse, right? Goodwill. You reward those who have made a difference on the field and reward those who frankly love to play the game. I can't find any fault in this kind of deal, and those monkeys were thrilled.
Yes, I heard they were throwing feces around their shed.
I
don't remember the names. I'm not going to even try to go there. But look, it's not nothing. $5 million a year for a player that, was on the street just a couple of months ago is a lot. On the other hand, for who he is and kind of what that money represents, you get the one thing you're going to get is energy, and you're going to get defense, you're going to get base running, and it's really essentially just a little bit more than you're paying Dylan Moore. So from that respect, probably a pretty good move for both sides.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
For the 35th straight day, we're going to mention Connor Williams. He is a new Seahawk. He's a center and a guard, and they're now hoping that he's going to be ready to go by week 1 of the season, which is great news, honestly. Here's the plan for Mr. Williams, according to Mike McDonald.
We got a pretty good plan in place now. He'll be with the sports performance folks for the next week or so, until we can get him full speed for practice. But we're shooting for either Cleveland League or after to get him out here and practicing for real.
Yeah, so that sounds pretty good. Maybe have him ready to go week 1, where I'm sure he assumes the starting center role. Look, we have talked a lot about this guy, but it's potentially an enormous signing. I was saying earlier, if there are 2 big question marks, not necessarily holes, but question marks about this team on their roster, it's do they have enough stars, top-end, top-tier talent, and do they have a good enough offensive line, especially interior offensive line? And if this answers one of those 2 questions, great. I mean, that's enormously important.
Dude's got a little swag, too. Just kind of watching him walk out. I think he is, and I remember this from Texas, too, his days when I called some of his games. He's one of those linemen, Salk, that doesn't look at himself like a lineman. Looks at himself like, I'm an athlete that happens to be 310 pounds and play line. There are some. Bradford, Bradford looks at himself in the mirror and goes, I'm a lineman. Yep. Christian Haynes gets out of bed, looks at himself in the mirror and goes, yeah, I'm a lineman. The Abe Lucases, the Charles Crosses, the Connor Williams, they don't. The Dwayne Browns, going kind of back to him as a comp as well. Like, now I'm an athlete that just happens to play offensive line. And you kind of need a little bit of both to round out an offensive line. All of those different personalities, all those different styles can play together. Like Walter Jones. I'm an athlete. Steve Hutchinson, I'm an athlete. Tobeck, I'm an athlete. Chris Gray, I'm an offensive lineman. Sean Locklear, kind of an offensive lineman, you know? So, yeah, he's a pretty talented guy. I'll say this, too, about Mike McDonald, because I think he mentions at every press conference, he likes the sports and science department.
He does, yeah.
It kind of, I think, fits his algorithm, right? I think he really enjoys that aspect of it, because I don't think it was as fully developed in Baltimore as it certainly is here in Seattle.
All right, that's everything you need to know. Seahawks did leave for Tennessee, and they'll start their padded joint practices this week with the Titans. We'll talk a little bit more football at 8 o'clock and some specific guys that are, they've got a lot of work to do here in the final couple weeks before the season starts and the cuts get made. So we'll run through some of those. I don't want to call them bubble guys, but guys who maybe have a little bit of work ahead of them before everything goes down.
Why don't we want to call them bubble guys?
I don't know, because some
you
of them
don't like doing that to guys' careers.
No, some of them are guys that are going to be on the team, but sort of maybe their role is yet to be determined, and they're going to have a lot to say about that based on.
Are
how
you
they
getting more
play.
sensey as you get older?
No, I don't think so. I think they're just not on the bubble. I trying to be accurate. Practice correctness. Okay. I learned that 15 years ago. It's about correctness, and I've never forgotten it. Coming up, we talked about how the Mariners just signed Victor Robles to an extension. You know how many outfielders that gives them heading into next year?
12.
6 guys who are legitimate major league outfielders. How does this shake out, and what does it mean for the upcoming offseason? A lot, and that's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Here's Brian Wu of your Seattle Mariners.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
What's the vibe like?
The vibe is good. I mean, I think it's exciting after the trade deadline, and you get some new faces in, you get some new, some good vibes. But I think we all understand how good this group is and how good we can be. And I think everyone's kind of just trying to take it day by day. But there's definitely, an understanding of what the ultimate goal is.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, guys, you're looking for something fun to do. Only 30 minutes from downtown. You know Snoqualmie Casino's the place to go. They've got so much going on. It's an awesome place to watch sports, maybe everything fun that goes with watching sports, and then enjoy a great happy hour menu as well. You know about Fall's Buffet, right? Serving up your favorites, prime rib every day, the fresh pasta, made-to-order stir-fry, noodles, pizza, salad bar, dessert bar. They make their pies every single day as well. And then Vista Prime, man. Amazing happy hour menus that start at 4. Yeah, it's all at Seattle's closest casino. Only 30 minutes from downtown. Online at snocasino.com. Seattle's closest, Snoqualmie Casino.
If your home has air conditioning, congratulations, because it looks like this summer is going to be a scorcher. But to make sure your AC system is working at its best, Deere Services is offering an inspection and tune-up with a no-breakdown guarantee and no service fee for just $49, a $129 value. Assure yourself of a comfortable, cool summer. Visit DEARservices.net, make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you a $100 credit. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's football season, and that means colder weather is on the way. If it's time to update your windows and doors, talk to Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Local owner Keith Dashafee has a great deal just for you.
That's right, Steve. Now you can get 20% off qualifying installations or 0% financing for 24 months with equal payments. Just schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors at PellaPNW.com.
Thanks, Keith. Check out the unbeatable selection of windows and doors today at PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed!
5 years of advanced security.
Security wing!
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings. Up to $18,500 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by September 3rd, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
Collectors, Front Row Car Show is coming to Seattle. Join us at the Doubletree Hotel SeaTac on August 17th and 18th.
Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards.
Plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC will be there. So bring your cards and comics to sell, trade, or get them graded.
Hundreds of vendors, including pristine auction.
Thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Car Show, Doubletree Hotel SeaTac. Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcarshow.com.
That's frontrowcarshow.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, the Mariners got a lot of outfielders now for next year. This is going to make for a very interesting offseason. I don't mean to put the cart before the horse. Obviously, we still got another 7-8 weeks at least left in this regular season, then hopefully a postseason after that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're always looking ahead as well. And wow, things get very interesting for them this offseason. So Julio obviously is in the fold.
Okay, before you dig into this, I'm sorry. Before you get into all this details and
Yes.
stuff, I got to just say something. I'm asking you, just as a friend,
Yeah.
like this is just you and me right here. Like nobody else is listening. And thank you. The ratings came out. My gosh, we just love all of you. Thank you.
All eight of you. Thank you.
Yes. This is just you and me. Can you make sure that I don't screw this up with Lyle? Like, of asking too many questions.
Lyle's our new guy, by the way. Say hi again, Lyle. People may know Lyle from the Marine Layer podcast, and he's joined the show now as, I don't even know what his role is, but he's here.
How we doing? Salk said if the ratings go down, it's my fault.
Yeah,
So.
I did say that earlier.
Yeah.
I told him.
You came in at the wrong time.
Yeah, we came in. We're riding high. July was great. If it goes down in August, you'll probably be summarily dismissed.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's noted.
Yeah,
kind of the way.
So
of the
were
way
you
things
insinuating that you messed it up with Justin?
No, not at all. No,
Oh, okay.
no.
really?
I felt like that worked. And
Why not?
Yeah,
Why
he's
aren't
a
you
li-
insinuating that?
No, a Libby guy, Puyallup guy, similar guys. So that was. But I already screwed it up with Lyle because I forgot that I went out to coffee with him.
That's not your fault. You're a big deal.
No, that was bad.
Lyle's utterly forgettable.
Lyle will never forget that. Neither will I. I mean, it was idiotic. Number two, I just felt like Lyle went, what is in store for me? Because I just peppered Charles with, 52 questions. And then I peppered Mora with 52 questions. So can you just make sure, like, if I cross the line, be like, bro.
Yeah, I think so. You know what we could do? We can have him train a little bit with Wyman and Bob, and he'll get to hang out with Bob. He'll get all of the questions, and then it'll make you feel like you don't ask that many next to Bob.
Yeah, you are nothing compared to Bob.
I mean, Bob
is that true?
That man has endless questions.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
right,
maybe you just have to do a couple Wyman and Bob shifts, and then afterwards you'll know.
So just
that Brock's
between
not
you
that
and I,
bad.
like on the subtext or
Yeah, I'll
whatever,
help you
or
out.
on a separate text, just be like, bro, you're kind of killing it.
Yeah.
You're taking
we
it too
gotta
far.
figure out the text thread thing anyway. Things are a mess right now. We still have our text thread with Justin.
I'm on 5 different text
We've got a
threads with
text
you
thread
guys.
with just me, you, and Mora. We got a
Right.
text thread me, you, Mora, and Lyle.
Correct.
We've got another one that adds G, who's not even a part of the show. Like we've got too many text
Too many.
threads,
I don't
and
think
I'd like
we
it
made
simplified.
that one. I think G made that one.
Yeah, and then Brock altered it. Things are crazy.
It's like too many outfielders for the Mariners. Too many text lines,
That's right.
too many outfielders.
It's a
How
crowded
are we
house.
going to figure all this out?
You got Julio next year. You got Randy, right? You got Robles now, who you've just signed for a couple of years. Those three guys are all signed. You got Canzone, who's still on his rookie deals, so he's not even arbitration eligible yet, and has certainly proved to be a major league player. And you would think heading into next year as a left-hander, those other three guys are all
This
righties.
is a big
It is.
6-7 weeks for him.
And
man.
he had probably his best game of the year the other
He did.
night, which was awesome. And then you got Luke Raley, who's signed for like another 4 or 5 years. You've also got Mitch Haniger, who is probably going to take his 1-year
player
option. Yeah,
for,
because
what, $16 million or
something like that. It's a lot more than
21
he's going to
million?
make in the in the open market. That's 6 guys. 6. That's a lot of outfielders. So I don't know what you do. It's a lot. Haniger, maybe
You don't really have anybody coming up.
No.
Most of your prospects are all infielders, correct?
Yeah, and those guys are probably.
I mean, Ty
not,
Pete's 2-3 years away. Farmella with the ACL this year is
Yes.
going to be 2-3 years away. So it's not as if you got guys banging down the door.
The only guys that should be like in the conversation next year of your big prospects are Harry Ford, who eventually has to make a leap, and Cole Young.
Maybe Arroyo.
I don't know enough about Arroyo to know if that's one of them. But the other guys are mostly still single A. You're probably talking about them 2 years away, maybe. Okay. So I don't know what you do with Haniger this offseason. There'll certainly be a conversation there. Maybe he becomes more of a DH. Maybe he's a part-time player. I don't know. But that outfield is stacked. Okay. What about the infield? Right? Like, if you start thinking about where you want to like improve your team, yeah, you could go out and add a stud in right field still if you needed to. None of these guys are so good or so, locked in other than Julio and Arozarena that you couldn't go after somebody big. Mm-hmm. But you look at what's available potentially in the infield next year, and my Lord, there are some real options. You could add, we were talking through this a little bit at 6:30, you could add at any of the 4 infield spots and significantly improve your club and change the way this works. And you've obviously got the prospects to make deals for it because you didn't give away a ton of it at the deadline. So if you really want to get better at first base,
Pete Alonso is going to be a free agent.
Vlad's going to be potentially available via trade. You certainly don't need to get better at first if you want to try, because Raley plays first, you could do a Raley, Locklear platoon or something like that at first that would work pretty well. Maybe you teach Mitch Haniger to play first just to kind of have another spot for him next year if he's going to be on the team. Maybe the same is true with Garver. I don't know. But there are ways you could sort of handle first. But yeah, both Pete Alonso and Vlad are going to be options. Lyle earlier mentioned Christian Walker as another potential free agent option. So you got real options at first base next year that could take care of that position.
Yep.
Second base is a little trickier, but the name Brandon Lau should be one that you keep in mind. He's the second baseman for Tampa, and I know that he's like a perfect fit for what the Mariners would like to do. $10.5 million option. They probably pick it up and then trade him. Lyle and I were just talking about that.
Yeah, so the Rays are going to want to get something back for him. That's just what the Rays do. they're instead of just letting him walk in free agency, they'll pick up the options and then immediately trade him.
Okay, sort of what the Brewers did with Colton Wong a couple of years ago when they traded him to the Mariners, and maybe that is another option where you trade for someone like Lau to help you at second base, or you could try to upgrade either shortstop or third base and help yourself at second that way. Maybe you trade for Bichette and end up moving J.P. Crawford to second. Maybe you look at third base, and I'm going to keep mentioning the name Alex Bregman because I'm fascinated by him. If you were to sign Alex Bregman at third and Rojas now all of a sudden slides to second and his bat plays a little bit better as a second baseman, you got a pretty fascinating offseason in front of you, don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, because I think there, obviously pitching, bullpen, all the youth, all your studs, your catcher, absolute stud, outfield, kind of secure. So you're not talking about a lot of different spots, but in those ones you are, they're also, unlike last year, and Jim Bowden put his top 50 free agents together, Salk. Unlike last year, there are legitimate names in this year's free agent class, right? Willie Adames is a guy that we've talked about for a couple years.
Sure.
And he's come around now and OPS plus of 117. This is kind of started slow, but over 20 home runs and plays a nice shortstop there. You mentioned, how about the guy we talked about, I don't know, through all of February. More than likely, he's going to opt out of the final 2 years of his deal because Matt Chapman's on pace to win another Gold Glove. The bat is not aged. He's hitting in a brutal park and having a very nice year for the Giants down there. So, yeah, there's going to be some names. There's going to be more opportunity. I think there's going to be more volume in free agency than we've seen in years past. Will teams across the league have the budgets to meet those needs?
Well, and in theory, though, that should be coming down. I mean, what we were sort of under the impression that the Mariners sort of understood and got hit by the RSN problems, financial problems first, but that other teams would be dealing with it down the road. If that's the case, does it make Bregman? Does it make Alonso? Does it make Christian Walker? I mean, those are real names that would considerably change the way this offense looks. If you could go out and get one of those, and it doesn't need to be all of them. You don't need to fix every one of those spots. Nope. Rojas a major league player. J.P. Crawford's a major league player, right? It looks like Locklear and Rayleigh are major league player. You don't need to improve at every single spot. Sometimes you want to give young guys an opportunity to show what they've got. You may want to make sure that Canzone gets at bats next year. You may want to make sure that Locklear has a spot next year to develop a little bit at the major league level. There's nothing wrong with giving a job, especially early, to a kid. You've talked a lot about how much youth plays
it's a young
in this
man's game.
It is.
That's right.
Okay.
And a lot of these guys, a lot of these free agents like Christian Walker, who I do love, is older, 34 years old.
Absolutely. I think that you have to be willing to accept that sometimes you have to take a chance with a young guy and that they're going to be unproven. There's a risk factor associated with that. You also are still going to remember that each time this team has found themselves without an older leader, they've struggled with that, right? And they've needed to get Justin Turner and they've needed to get Carlos Santana. And so maybe, I don't know if Christian Walker is that guy or not. I don't know enough about him. But seeing a 34-year-old shouldn't necessarily be a cause for panic, depending on what sort of a role you're asking that player to play.
Yeah, you know what I did last night, by the way, with no Mariner game, right? In this kind of season, before football obviously gets going and Monday Night Football and everything. You know what I did a little bit different and just kind of worked out last night? That there were 2 West Coast games on in lieu of the Mariners. Blake, by the way, Blake Snell, Chris Sale, unbelievable.
Yeah, they're both really good.
I mean, it was ridiculous. It was watching them pitch to high schoolers. It looked like that. Like, you have no chance. I think Sale had 14 strikeouts. I think Snell had 6 more no-hit innings. There was no way he was going to go back-to-back no-hit. His pitch count was up and ultimately gave up a hit and got knocked out in the 7th. I mean, you just couldn't even touch him. But I was like watching that park in San Fran. I'm like, that's harder to hit than T-Mobile, isn't it?
Yes. It's brutal to hit there.
Oh, I mean, the marine layer and the fog and the cold, and you are right, unlike T-Mobile, where you're a little removed from the sound, like you are right on the water, and it looked miserable. And it was just a reminder, the West Coast games, like, okay, so that was 0-0. I think ultimately 1-0 in extras. And then San Diego and Pittsburgh were going at it. And it was the same thing. It was 1-0 to the 9th inning. And like, it is not easy to hit in these West Coast parks. Even in August, And frankly, like I think Seattle in August and September, the park plays better than maybe Petco and AT&T do down there in California. So it was just a little reminder. No, by the way, lots of those lineups had holes all over the place. All over the place. Had a bunch of guys that were just sub 600 OPS and like, there are some lineups that really do struggle to put together 9 guys. So as we have this conversation, yeah, you'd love to have 9 bona fide, difference makers, but the reality is you're probably going to have 7, and then there's going to be 2, as is, the case kind of year after year, that either young guys got to emerge or a move's going to be made midsummer to address a need.
Yeah, and you've got it. You've got the guys to do it. So,
the guys is in the farm system.
Yes. I mean, you really have opportunities in front of you. As interesting as the trade deadline was, and I know we say every year, this is going to be the biggest offseason ever.
Yep.
It has a chance to really be enormous for them, depending, obviously, on how the rest of this year finishes.
The volume of your pitching, the volume of your starters, the volume of your bullpen with the brash and all the other injuries, the volume that you have there, and the volume of a farm system that you gave none of your top 10 away.
Yeah, what if you are willing to part with one of those guys and you can bring back a potential game changer in your infield to go with what you've done to remake your outfield? Arozarena should be a staple now for this team moving forward for the next few years. I'm very interested. Not that I want to wish away the last couple months of the season because they're awesome and I'm excited about, a pennant chase here. But with a day off yesterday and no baseball, no Mariner game to watch, just to kind of think through, all right, take stock of where they're at as a franchise and what could be ahead of them. There's some real excitement, I would hope, for this offseason, depending on how they want to play it. I may end up talking about Bregman more than people want me to. I really
I'm going to guess the Texoid did not like that name.
I don't care. I love the way he plays the game, man. And the idea of adding him at third base to add, what does Scott always want? Guys who are hard to play against?
Oh, that guy's a Scott guy. I mean, that's I would think, and maybe he would say you're an idiot.
How many players in the game are harder to play against than Alex Bregman? There can't be more than 10.
Offensively, defensively, grind.
That's right.
Oh.
I'm not saying he's the best player in baseball.
And he started slow. I mean, he was a big reason why the Astros, a bunch of those guys, but he in particular was just miserable in April, May, but has dug right out of that thing. And
well, then he'll fit right in here. Everybody here is miserable in April and May. I mean, isn't that exactly what you need? I mean, he sounds like he's tailor-made to be a Mariner. By the way, his numbers are not where they've always been. He's about 100 points off on his OPS this year, but still a pretty productive player and still just a pain in the butt to play against.
Absolute pest.
Something you want on your team. Let's switch to some football and some Blue 88s.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as
like many others can too.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, I know we spent some time yesterday on Dan Orlovsky's quarterback list, but he did it by trait, kind of listed 7 traits that were important for a quarterback. Did you spend some time looking through that last night?
I did. I appreciated that, and Dan's, works really hard, man. You could disagree, whatever, agree, but the one thing you have to be on the same page with, like, he spends his time watching it. And it's not like Jaws, where he tells you he's watched a million hours of tape. You just know that he does, and he's so stinking passionate about it. And as I was looking at that list, and obviously, as we talked through them yesterday, Salk, many of them kind of fold into another, and there's some semantics with some of it. But I would have probably, honestly, put processing. And it's right there with decision-making. And they're totally married together. But your ability to process before you even then pull the trigger of the decision you make, I think is pretty important. And in fact, I am right in lockstep with Tim Hasselbeck here. I think one of the most underrated features of Geno Smith's game and why this system is such a great fit for him is he is one of the quickest process. If there was processing in the game, he'd have been that would have been one, I think, maybe top 5. Here was Tim Hasselbeck talking about Geno's ability to process.
He's probably one of the more underrated and appreciated players, not just quarterbacks, in the National Football League. So I actually think that step that he took a couple of years ago, I think he's continued to play, and just kind of put it into some numbers as well. He's continued to play really well. I expect that same thing to happen even with a change. So, I think some of it, and certainly the offensive line play will affect any quarterback. Kenneth Walker's a really good back. I expect them to run the ball fairly well. They've got a good receiving core. They certainly are adequate at tight end. And I think Geno's a quick processor, and I think that he does a good job of playing on time. And when you do that and you stay on schedule, it's easy to have success. And I think it's part of the success he's had in recent years.
And this system mandates that. Part of the reason that Penix didn't get hit, part of the reason that Penix gets that ball out, Salk, is this system fit his eye, right? When this system left, it was not so good in Indiana, which is why he wanted right back into this system. It fit his eye. When Sam committed to Washington at the time with Jimmy Lake, I knew it was bad news bears. He is a speed and spread and space and air raid guy, and this does not fit him. My daughter, Macy, the system up in Montana just did not fit. Like it just, you are, they're very rare players that fit in every single system, and the majority of them need to fit in the system that plays to their skill set. Geno is a processor, and this system is all about that. You saw that in the first preseason game, the number of RPOs, the number still of shifts and motions, and you got to have your eyes in the right place and process really quickly. I think it's going to be a cool storyline for us to watch over the course of this season.
I'm concerned about Tim Hasselbeck.
He's coaching, Salk.
He sounds old.
He was exhausted.
Does he sound old?
Do you try to coach high school too?
I'm not going to try and do that, but I'm just saying that Tim sounds older than he's ever sounded before, and that Southern accent is not going away.
Right. Well, he's now the head coach.
All right.
He's got his dad on staff.
Yeah.
He's got his brother on staff.
All right.
He's feeding a lot of mouths.
I know.
And 2 days in Nashville.
I'm a little worried about
Dave. I hope Dave Wyman and Brady, like right this morning, are liquid IV and hydrating up, because it's going to be a steam room in Tennessee.
I believe it. All right, question number 2. Speaking of having your dad on staff, is Bill Belichick now like on staff with the Huskies? What's the deal here? He's there like every day.
Pretty close. You know that old Bill's going to be on with our buddy Paul, what's his name? Pat McAfee. He's going to be on with him every single week.
Right.
And yeah, he was asked yesterday, Pat, in only fashion Pat could do, can I ask him, you got that whistle?
Yeah.
You still got that famous whistle?
Jed's got the whistle. Yeah, I'm just here to watch. And, sometimes they ask me, to look at something or what I think about this or that or whatever. But it's been great. It's great to see these guys. And, Jed's got a great staff. Jed does a great job with this program. And look forward to following him, during the year.
We talked about this a little bit last week when I watched Husky practice last Tuesday, and some of the folks around were telling me the difference between Pete and Bill and how Pete will keep a distance. Pete will kind of sit up in the stands and watch, and not Bill. Bill's got to have the gear. Bill's got to be on the field. Bill's got to be a part of it, which speaks to still Bill's going to coach again. I mean, I think that's just a harbinger of things to come. But also he is he is coaching the tape. He is in those meeting rooms. Maybe a little more negative, Ben. Maybe a little more.
Do you think his dad? Do you think his kid likes that rather?
I think he loves it.
Do you do?
I do.
Dad, I'm trying to coach. I'm trying to forge my own career. Could you go somewhere else?
No, I think.
Could you leave me alone?
I think his kid loves it.
Think so?
I do. And in fact, as I was watching Steve, he's kind of more, like a couple years ago with the mullet and the whole thing, it was just kind of tough. Now he's kind of got his own little look, and he's kind of putting a little size on. He kind of stands, posture, kind of like fathers and sons do. Yeah, there's more and more Bill than Steve, and I don't think he minds having Pops around.
All right, question number 3. First AP poll came out, yesterday? What jumps out?
2 things jump out. 8 of the top 9 teams are from 2 conferences. If you ever really wanted to know, like at least going into the season, why did Fox do what Fox did? Why did ESPN do what ESPN did? Why is Clemson and FSU trying like mad to get out of the ACC and everything else? Why is the Big 12 trying to just stretch from sea to shining sea and carve out their own little niche and kind of be, third fiddle to those 2? Is because 8 of the top 9 are the SEC in the Big 10.
What was the 9th?
Notre Dame. Yeah. Notre Dame, I think, was number 7 in there, and then Utah, was after that, and some of the other schools and the other Big 12 schools. I think there was 3 or 4 or 5 that rounded out the top 25: Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Arizona. But you see why when Jed Fish kind of said to us in the first interview we sat down with him, like, see where this is going. There's kind of two superpowers and two big old conferences. And while there's going to be a 12-team playoff, more than likely those two are going to have probably 3 teams in it at least from each of those. So that's number one. The other thing was Kalen DeBoer made a pretty savvy move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alabama's number 5. And, right away, like you lose Grubb, you lose Huff, you lose all these recruits. Oh, my gosh, Kalen know what he's doing. And then just kind of let time and dust settle a little bit, right? Just kind of get closer to the season, watch their spring, watch their developments, watch their players grow, watch the transfer portal, add a couple key pieces. And there's Alabama right there at number 5. And Kalen DeBoer and many of those staff members that he brought from Washington are going to get a legitimate chance again to compete for a national title.
All right, good stuff. That's today's Blue 88. It's funny you bring up sort of the negative bend. Mike McDonald's not a negative guy, but he certainly does not exactly dish out praise either. It's interesting to me that almost everything he has said always seems to come with a, yeah, but. Like here he was on Tyrese Knight. He said he offered him a timeline.
He's a rookie. He's doing the things, he's making plays that he needs to make right now to compete. But he needs to keep chasing it. There needs to be a sense of urgency there on his mentality, and he's doing that. But I told him it's going to take him 3 years. You haven't made it yet, buddy. You played one preseason game. You got a ways to go, but he'll get there. We're excited about him, but he's got some room to grow.
Doesn't sound like Pete. Here he was on Byron Murphy.
Byron did play very well. All the things that we saw during practice, but same idea of hey, it was a small dosage in terms of what we were asking you to do. Now let's up that a little bit and see how far.
He played great. We'll see.
Small doses.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like the
I really like it.
It was fun. We'll see.
And you know what? The players I think really like it too, Salk, because it's totally consistent, and genuine with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're a 4th-round pick, whether you're a quarterback, right, that gets traded for, whether you're Geno, whether you're Byron Murphy, like you just
Devin
treat everybody the same way.
Yeah.
Devin Witherspoon, like you treat everybody the same.
We'll see where it goes. No, I'm not too impressed. I'm not a Hall of Famer. I mean, it'll be okay.
I mean, he's from the Northeast, right?
I like it. I love
he does have some Northeast
Put
blood
me on the
in
record
him,
as loving this, and more just that it's just so different from what we've seen. I came to understand and appreciate the way Pete handled those things. I will admit this is a little bit more of what I'm comfortable with. Of like, yeah, we'll see. It's pretty good. He's not a Hall of Famer.
You shot an 85. He shot an 85.
It's okay.
Of course, the other day.
He can do better. Yeah, certainly do better. Yeah. All right, coming up, he's got some decisions to make on a whole lot of guys. I'm not going to say they're on the bubble, but who could put themselves in a different position by stepping up over the next couple of weeks? We got 8 or 9 names next on Brock and Sulk.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball.
He leaps and Victor Robles makes the catch.
Every strikeout.
Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball that had a lot of movement.
Every home run.
It is red salami time. Welcome to Seattle. Justin Turner.
Every Mariners win.
3 runs are in, and the Mariners walk it off. Mitch Haniger getting bombed at second base.
Stream every game at SeattleSports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Sulk here talking about Crawl Pros and specifically their pest control division. It's called Pest Pros. And you may need them if you've got any sort of a problem, whether it's rodents, that type of thing. But this type of year, bees, wasps, or hornets, those things make a nest on your property, and that is a huge nuisance and maybe actual physical pain as well. Don't try to take care of those hives on your own. Call Pest Pros, and they will get any nest removed and destroyed professionally before the problem grows, and then somebody gets stung, maybe your kid, maybe you, maybe a guest. You don't want any part of that, right? Pest Pros, as I said, full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros. They use eco-friendly treatments, and they can keep ants, stinging insects, all kinds of critters away from your home. So if you're worried about rodents or ants or other bugs, any issue in and around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com to schedule a free inspection. That's gopestpros.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Brandy Cruz. Hey, Brandy, why? Why First Mark Insurance?
Service. I wondered for a second whether I was getting the VIP treatment, and I kind of asked, hey, is this what you do for everyone? And they're like, of course. The whole First Mark Challenge is meant to be personal, right? So it really is tailored and meant to be a personal experience for every single person. I will say I've just done whatever is the quickest and cheapest type of insurance, and I realized while I was doing it, wow, this is what it feels like to get insurance as a real adult. We had a million questions, and they walked us through every step of the process, and then they're working for you. So they're not working working for insurance companies, they're working for you. To experience that level of service really shows you what the difference is with First Mark.
Brandy did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Are you putting off your new kitchen plans? Why wait? Hi, Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Call today and ask about our trade-in sale. Years of experience, thousands of happy customers. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600 or heritagehomecraft.com.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
There's an old saying that a house is not a home, but the Mariners house, T-Mobile Park, is home to an awful lot. Home to plays you can't believe.
Right shot, diving catch. Holy smokes, what a play by Crawford.
Home to 6-foot salmon that don't swim, they sprint. And even home to hot dogs that fall from heaven. Hallelujah.
Everybody likes free food just falling from the sky.
Oh, yeah. And it's also home to 47,000 screaming faithful.
We have a sellout crowd. I mean, the folks are up there in the rafters.
T-Mobile Park is our house. Mariners fans make it our home. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Don't miss out on the next Mariners homestand as Cal Raleigh and the crew take on the Giants and the Rays. It all starts with a 3-game set against San Francisco, Friday, August 23rd through Sunday, August 25th. Then score Mariners value game seats as low as $10 to all 3 games against Tampa Bay, Monday the 26th through Wednesday the 28th. Get your tickets at mariners.com.
Hey, it's Amanda. See life better with LASIK from King LASIK. And this month, you'll save $1,000. Plus, with 0% financing for 24 months, OAC, LASIK from King LASIK is just $188 a month. Start with a free Zoom consult at kinglasik.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Eward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Eward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, Seahawks head down to Tennessee yesterday, so they'll be practicing throughout this week. We'll talk to Brady, I'm sure, at some point. He's down there. We'll talk to Dave Wyman. He's down there as well. So maybe starting tomorrow, we'll talk to those guys about practice as they get to watch a full contact practice between the Seahawks and the Titans all this week.
Yeah, I think they head out today.
Sorry.
Well, they were. Well, no, not whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's about correctness.
It really doesn't matter.
Last hour was about correctness.
It really doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. They get there. They go there.
They're traveling
we'll talk to them
today to Tennessee.
Brock,
and yeah,
don't try to correct me here. This show has my name on it. How dare you? How dare you go in that direction? Anyway, as the details aside, as they go through the final stretch here now, the camp is over. They played one preseason. There's only 2 left to go. I got a list of players. Most of these guys are not necessarily bubble guys. Some are. Some are fighting for a roster spot, but some may be fighting for a starting spot or, just a relevancy or playing time.
Are these a lot of like Luke Rayleigh, Dom Canzones?
Yeah, maybe guys who were unsure yet exactly what their role is going to be this year. So let me run through them. I got, 8 or 10 more started this list. Jeez. I added to it. And maybe you could just give me sort of a quick thought on where you think they're at and where you think they may end up. And I'll start with Darrell Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Darrell Taylor better hope that the Seahawks have no interest in Matthew Judon and no interest. Hassan Reddick's not going anywhere. The Jets made that really clear. So you can ask for a trade all you want, and this is probably why you need to get a deal done before, right, you actually pull the trigger and make that trade and make sure the framework of a deal is done so you don't have what you have there with the Jets, just a total mess. But Matthew Judon is available. And final year of a deal, $6 million or so there in New England. He wants a new deal.
Isn't he really good?
He's really, really good. And he would be an unbelievable fit, like with Uchenna, and Boye and Derek Hall. And the odd man out would be Darrell Taylor, who's, once again, not been totally available this camp. That's been, unfortunately, the calling card for his career. Mm-hmm. So Darrell Taylor better hope that the Seahawks have no money, no cap space, no interest.
If they don't go in the Judon direction, is he part of the rotation?
He's part of the rotation because his skill set.
He's part of the rotation.
Yeah, his skill set is different than a Derek Hall and a Boye Mafe. He's got more twitch, a little more speed, but he's got a lot more inconsistency, and that dude better start showing. These are 2 big practices for him.
How about Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, it's weird. You said that yesterday about Kobe, that we had hardly talked about him and even mentioned him at training camp. And frankly, the two practices that I was out there watching, I didn't even know where he was at. Is he a nickel? Is he at safety? He was certainly at safety in that game.
He was listed as a safety on the depth chart that came out yesterday.
Yep, and he is a safety. And I would think, obviously, paying Julian's going to be the guy, but I would think he's kind of a Julian Love light, that there's a similar game, that there's a similar cerebral, I'm always around the ball. I know game. He was around the ball again with 1 pick, nearly a second. That was a great showing by Kobe Bryant. One that maybe you and I needed. Internally, I don't think nearly as much. Gonna be around. Too smart of a guy. Too high of a football IQ.
Is there room? So that play was really made by Kevon Wallace, who should probably be in this conversation here as well.
For both him and Kobe? Yes.
Yeah, and then you got Marquise Blair. There's not room for all 5 safeties, right?
No, Marquise Blair's probably on the outside looking in, as is the late-round pick last year that unfortunately is banged up on the outside looking in. Yep. So, no, I think you're probably looking at Kayvon and you're looking at Kobe, and those are pretty good backups to your 2 starters as well.
All right. How about Anthony Bradford? Now, again, he's going to be on the team. Is he locked into a starting guard spot? Is there a conversation about Christian Haynes, who I know people were pretty excited about? I saw, was it Ben Fennell, one of the guys who does a lot of video breakdown on Twitter, seemed to really love what he did over the weekend.
I think what we will hear from Mike McDonald, and if we were in those meetings tomorrow night in Nashville and the following night and got to sit in there and watch the tape with them, and I think I would pay I'd pay a month of my radio salary to do that. I'd give that to just sit in there and listen to those things and learn and absorb.
Notice you said the radio salary, not the TV salary.
Not the TV salary.
Yeah, you're going to keep that one, but the radio salary.
Maybe the Madden. I shouldn't even say the Madden salary. Okay. I give a month of my. Yeah. By the way, coming out this week.
Nice.
So yeah, I know you're excited for that.
Very excited.
Totally thrilled. I think you would hear Mike McDonald say what he talked about with Tyrese Knight. Where is just that sense of urgency? Right? And for Anthony Bradford, you better have a sense of urgency because this other dude does. I think it was one of Ray's comments, Big Ray Roberts, talking about Christian Haynes. Like every snap, there was bad intentions. Every snap, he put himself out there. Every snap, he got some heavy hands, man. He may not have the most powerful lower half, but he's got an upper body, and he's got these bricks for hands that when they hit you, they kind of stop you. And, I think sense of urgency is going to be a really big deal for Tyrese Knight. I think sense of urgency going to be a even bigger deal for Anthony Bradford.
Let me give you 3 names on the defensive line. I'll throw them at you together. Mike Morris, who clearly is an intriguing type of player. Jonathan Hankins, who Mora interviewed. He's more a completely different style defensive lineman. And then Miles Adams has actually been around here for a while and played a lot of snaps for this team. We've not talked much about him. Those 3 guys, where do you think they're at? And maybe it's related to each other.
I think a little bit, yeah. I mean, Hankins is your vet. He's your pro. He's your established guy. He's more of a space eater. He's one that's not going to be just blown off the ball. He's also not going to be one that's going to get you 10 sacks or 6 sacks. I don't think he's got Jaron Reed or Leo. Yeah, he's just a big, old space eater. And there's typically a spot for that in McDonald's systems. Whether Michigan or Baltimore, you looked at his 4D tackle rotation, you typically had a Hankins. So I think he's going to be pretty safe, as a veteran that they brought in for a reason, with a lot of background and a lot of experience, and probably a good guy to have in Byron Murphy's ear.
Adams and I were looking at his back at practice. That's the space that gets eaten up.
His back?
Very, very wide back.
Big old back.
Like a big old back.
Yep.
Like eat up the whole door back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Adams is kind of, if few of these guys were not here, right? If there was no Leonard Williams, had he signed elsewhere? If there was no first-round pick in Byron Murphy, right? Had he gone earlier? Adams has got some of the stuff that they do like, right? Just some of he's undersized, but he'll get on edges, and he will play really, really hard. And, I'll be kind of curious if they can still sneak him to the practice squad or where he's going to be, because you don't want to lose a guy like that. And then Morris has just got he's just kind of a tweener, and that's a hard spot to be. And if you are a tweener, then you better do those things in between remarkably well. You better cover an out route or stick route like you did in that game perfectly. Like, you better do those things perfectly, because he's not going to, to be a massive, just game-changing, disruptive interior guy, and he's not this super twitchy, crush the edge and do all that on the outside. He's just kind of in between those things. So maybe a practice squad could also be a space for him.
Last one for me here, and Moore and I were talking about this earlier. Brady said yesterday that the battle for the 5th wide receiver spot is between Laviska Shenault and Derek Young.
Okay.
Am I crazy to think that both those guys make this team? Just from a special teams perspective, from how different they are, how different skills they both bring, doesn't it feel like both those guys are on this roster?
It could. It depends then on safeties. It depends on linebackers. It depends on running backs. Depends on a whole bunch of other
Both guys play
stuff.
special teams. They have completely different roles in an offense, where Shenault is more of a get him the ball behind the line of scrimmage, and Derek Young is more of a do the little things, the dirty work, Isn't there room for both of those guys on this roster?
There could be. And unfortunately for G, I don't know if you saw his video. He's clamoring for Aesop Winston. That's his guy.
I like Aesop. It's hard to see how he makes the roster just with how healthy they've been. Doesn't mean he's not on the practice squad and ending up here later.
And hard for D. Eskridge as well, with kind of looking up at those two guys.
I'm not too worried about that. It's fine. He can mosey on out of here, and I think I'd be just fine.
Going to be a fun, competitive week, and we will certainly check in with Dave. And if they're, by the way, I was thinking about this too, like, they're going to do all they can to not have brawls. And Mike McDonald made that abundantly clear. All the time on task they have spent with the Tennessee staff.
He certainly said it. I don't know if he
to lay these things out.
We'll see how much they truly mean that. But he definitely said it.
But I will say this. I will say this.
Yes.
I like having Wyman there.
Yeah.
If a brawl breaks out,
Dave's the guy you want,
and that dude's there, you want him in your corner,
because he will. Well, the great thing about Dave is he'll break down the details too of like who went where. He will break it down like a boxing match.
That
he knows
dude
exactly
still got
what he's doing.
some man strength that you do not want to mess with.
Did you see the video of him pushing the sled last week? That
that was faux. That was not. Yeah,
that was for show.
That was fake.
That was for show.
That was fake video.
Let's come back. We give you guys everything you need to know, and then Jeff Passan will join us at 8:30, 20 minutes from now. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
They go through and allow one run to the Mets in 3 games combined.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
22-1, they outscored them. How about that?
I'll tell you what, before this series started, if you ask somebody what's more likely, that they only allow 1 run or that they score 22 in 3 games, you'd say, easy, 1 run.
1 run with that pitching. 22 runs from this offense the way it looked against Detroit.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Are you waking up this morning searching for a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your mortgage needs? Hey, Brock Heward here, and you know you can count on my friends at Tila Mortgage. Lots of mortgage companies come and go, but the go-to mortgage experts in Washington for the last 25 years have been my friends at Tila. And if you're 62 or older and you've heard me talk about reverse mortgages, Tila would love to help you decide if it's the right choice for you and your family. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your cash flow, well, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan or that HELOC, that home equity line of credit, enabling you to maintain your low fixed rate first mortgage, but get to some of that equity. Additionally, if you're purchasing a new home, well, congratulations. And Tila can help guide you through the ins and outs of all that excitement. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. They'll be waiting for your call this morning, 206-766-8888 or TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
Tired of spending endless hours on lawn care? Switch to Synthetic Turf Northwest, the Northwest's leader in quality synthetic turf products and professional installation. With 28 years of experience, we're your trusted source in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue. Ask about our 18-month no-interest financing and how you can beat the heat and save up to $1,000 off your project now through July 31st. Start enjoying a beautiful, low-maintenance lawn today. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718. Stop stressing about your lawn and start enjoying it.
This is Cammie Michaels. 4 years ago, I was rear-ended in a terrible car accident. Little did I know that my biggest fight to cover my medical bills was with my own insurance company. Davis Law Group fought for me when I was unable to fight for myself. They got the results I hoped for. For more of my story, go to dlgstories.com/Tammy. That's dlgstories.com/Tammy.
I'm here with my friend Mark Clymer from Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. Mark, is now the best time to buy a new car?
Well, it absolutely is right now because we have our factory invoice sale going on right now, which means you're going to pay what we pay. And this is on all our 24 model vehicles, basically, everything except for Raptors. So we're talking F-150s, Rangers, Mavericks, F-250s, Explorers, Escapes, Expeditions, you name it. These are brand new 2024 models. They also come with our lifetime powertrain coverage and 5 days or 500-mile, 100% money-back guarantee, so you can shop with total confidence. There's no negotiating, nothing. You pay what we pay. We're overstocked right now, and we need to make room. We have a lot more vehicles coming in. So, yeah, you're right. If you've been putting it off and you're looking to get a new Ford, for a limited time, we're having our factory invoice sale. You pay what we pay.
Take the hassle out of car shopping. You know you're getting a great deal at Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Seattle is home to Swedish CyberKnife, a non-invasive and highly precise treatment for prostate cancer. Compared with other radiation treatments, CyberKnife treatment is much shorter, typically 5 treatments. The vast majority of patients experience minimal side effects and can continue normal activities during treatment. Swedish CyberKnife patients enjoy excellent cancer control rates and minimal disruption to normal activities. Go to swedish.org/CyberKnife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
High five. Up top.
Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Mariners are in Detroit now. Brock, I know they're there. They went yesterday, I think. Well, now I'm not even sure after you kind of busted my confidence with this whole Tennessee thing.
So they went yesterday.
Okay,
of course they did.
Thank God. I was worried. I was all out of sorts after what you told me. But they'll play 3 against these Tigers who gave them fits last week, honestly. They allowed the Mariners to play 2 games and 8 innings of about as bad a baseball as we've witnessed here in quite some time. Thankfully, they walked it off in the 9th inning of Game 3, and then the Tigers struggled a lot in San Francisco. So hopefully the Mariners can take some of that momentum gained in the sweep of the Mets and get back to it because, the Astros have stayed hot. They've won 6 straight games, take a half-game lead in the division. They may have Justin Verlander back sooner rather than later as he's had a couple of rehab starts now, and you're going to see Turk Skubal tonight, and then who the heck knows? So
it'll be 2 bullpen days. I mean, it's just what they have 2 starters. Detroit has 2 starters. That's it. So it's going to be, and they've seen a lot of the bullpen guys. You would think that, having that experience of both losing the series at home, having seen many of their pitchers should give you an advantage. Mm-hmm. And it didn't surprise me when I looked at this Detroit team who did sell at the deadline that they're better on the road than they are at home. And I think when you got young players, that can happen many times. Like, okay, I'm going to get away from here. I'm going to go on the road. I'm going to cut it loose. I got nothing to lose when I go into these different plays. Go into Seattle, and I'm going to, you watch their center fielder Meadows make plays he hadn't made all year, hit home runs he's not hit all season long. 30-32 on the road, just 26-31 at home. Hopefully, man, tonight would be a great one. If you could find a way to beat their ace, their one stud, it really does set you up for the rest of the series.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, Victor Robles is going to be here for a little while. The Mariners make a contract extension official yesterday as he signs for 2 years plus a third-year option. He'll get about $5 million a year in those first 2, and then a $9 million option for 2027. I saw Ken Rosenthal in his column today saying, if you can come up with another player that was given a new contract 76 days after being released by another team, please let me know. It is a bizarre story, but the Mariners get their guy. Robles has been, quite frankly, a godsend since showing up here, not just for what he's done in terms of the bat, although that's been very good. It's the energy, it's the defense, it's the base running. All of it has been a big part for Jerry Dipoto.
And, our scenery has really been good to him, and vice versa. His energy, his tool set. I mean, he hits for power. He runs. He plays defense, and he brings tremendous energy to a team. And I hate the fact that we're going to play without him today because he's been such a spark plug for us.
That was when he joined us a couple of weeks ago, and maybe not a surprise after hearing that he ended up being extended.
So bigger picture, right? Aside from all of that, bigger picture, what does this say? What does this say to your clubhouse and your team? What does this say to your fan base? What does this say that a player wants to be here? Or the Victor Robles is here for 70 days. Is like, this is where I want to be. Mm-hmm. Yep. Remember, he won a World Series. He was a top 5 prospect. And obviously the career had gone off the rails for a bunch of years, and so badly so that he was DFA'd and resurrected himself here. But to me, this also makes so much sense in so many different baseball ways. But I think also bigger picture too, Salk. This is a good one. This is a goodwill for that clubhouse. This is a good one for you produce, you're going to get paid, and a good one for I want to be here. I'm not looking to leave Seattle. I don't care that it's removed. I like Randy. I like Julio. There's some dudes on this team. We can pitch, and I'll give up the chance. Because listen, he could if he stayed red hot for the next 30-something days, right, and put together an incredible run, he could have gone to free agency. Did not do that. Win-win, I think, for both sides.
Of course, also, if he turns back into a
That's
pumpkin
true.
during
That's
that
very
time,
true, too.
his free agency would look very different. There's a little risk in it, but they're not paying him that much money, as I said, just a little bit more than they gave Dylan Moore. So it makes sense. Good deal for everybody to have Victor Robles in the fold.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Here's a deal from the Mariners. Connor Williams gets his deal official from the Seahawks and then showed up yesterday.
Did we ever talk about a player more?
No.
Before he put on a uniform
Never.
to Connor Williams?
Nope, I think he is going to be number one. He's a center, and he just says that, he likes to be physical.
I guess I try to pride myself on being an aggressive, fast, physical player, and I think this is a great place to do that.
That's a 6-second answer, and that sounds like an offensive lineman
Sure
to me.
does. I like his length, man. I like 6'5" guys on that interior. That's something we have not. It's harder to find. You can get away with less, and man, have we seen that here with a lot of little itty bitty guys playing that position. And usually those bigger guys, Sulk, like to slide out and play a little guard. As I said, he was a tackle in college, a little bit shorter arms, so he knew that he would eventually slide into a guard or center spot in the NFL. But having that kind of length, get your hands on people, the numbers are pretty clear. Is a run blocker, when healthy the last 2 years, top 5 in the league, top 5. And we have not said that about an interior offensive lineman for the Seahawks since, I don't know, Max Unger.
That's for sure. Seahawks apparently heading to Tennessee today, and we'll start full padded practice.
They'll be heading out. They'll be heading out today.
All right. That's everything you need to know. Quarter past every hour here on the
You been to
Brock and
Nashville?
Salk Show. Been there a couple times.
You like it?
Not really.
Really?
No.
You're not really a country music guy.
Yeah.
Music guy.
It's
arts
not one of
guy.
my favorite places I've been.
Culture
Now, I've
guy,
not really seen
food
it at its
guy.
best, though. Like, I was there for the winter meetings, so most of that took place inside the Opryland, and I was paying my own way at the time. And I think
It's been a lot of years. You've not been there in the last 10 years?
You've met my You've met my friend Joe Haggerty, right?
Yes.
Joe and I stayed at a hotel.
Merle's
I mentioned this
grandson?
before. Yeah, a different one.
Okay.
That had it was the most graffiti I'd ever seen inside a hotel room. if that makes sense.
Yeah, that is a very different Nashville than these fellas are going to see.
Yeah.
Because the city has exploded.
Yeah.
It really, really has. I think they're going to have a great time. So
Yeah, that was not my experience, but it's
All
been a while. That's for sure. It's probably been close to 20, not quite 20, 15 years or so.
Shouldn't even
since
ask
I've
the
been to Nashville. But yeah,
Should
didn't
not
like
have
it.
even asked the question.
Didn't like
Maybe
it.
I'll ask
Not a great
Passan.
city. Let's go
Okay.
somewhere else.
All right.
Let's come back with Jeff Passan. He's in Kansas City, one of the all-time great cities. Boy, let me tell you, it's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 SeattleSports.com.
Get the national perspective on the Mariners.
Swing and a miss and a slider, strike 3.
With Jeff Passan, Tuesday mornings at 8:30.
I don't think that it is unrealistic to believe that they have the talent and the ability to win a championship with this team.
And John Morosi, Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Their DNA remains intact. This is a rotation-dependent team.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here. Being out of camp, obviously you get to see just some physical specimens, guys that have trained all summer to be in the best shape of their life. Now, most of us are never going to have the time, the energy, the resources, the genetics to look like those guys, but we can look our very best with a little help from Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. That's right. I used the program last year and lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks. Pretty good. And it was not that hard. It was not that painful. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic devised a plan that was right for me. They can do the same for you. I ate real food. I lost weight. I looked and felt my very best. And that's safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss. That's right. Schedule a free, no obligation consult right now at eastsideweightlossklinik.com and see if it's right for you. Call 425-588-0080 or eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a warehouse manager, her job is to transform chaos into clarity and to see patterns where others see problems. Luckily, she's got a partner who shares her perspective. Grainger offers over 1 million industrial-grade products, backed by real person support and in-depth online resources, so she can tackle every task with precision and turn potential setbacks into streamlined success. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll by. Now, you just can't wait for the Harbor Freight parking lot sale to roll around. And it'll be here this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
You want to talk about this part? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
Summer is here. If you're dealing with a pest problem, get the relief you need and the long-term protection you deserve with Issaquah Pest Control. Look, rodents and bugs can ruin your insulation or the structure of your home or business. Before it becomes a more costly issue, call Issaquah Pest Control, the fast, kind, and professional pest control service. And if you're in the pest control business or have an interest, they're hiring, so join the team. Issaquah Pest Control, serving the entire Puget Sound. IssaquahPest.com.
Lexus is electrified, and the first ever RZ450E has the performance and range to get you where you need to go with the exclusive Lexus Direct 4 all-wheel drive technology. Lexus of Bellevue has over 50 RZs available for immediate delivery with electrifying savings. Up to $18,500 lease cash on every RZ450E. Visit LexusofBellevue.com.
On approval of credit through LFS, lease cash from Lexus available on select 2024 RZ styles. Must take delivery by September 3rd, 2024. A documentary service fee up to $200 may be added to the purchase price or capitalized costs. See dealership for details.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year. And I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and I had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, man, it's Tuesday, which means Jeff Passan joins us. Hello, Jeffrey. Good morning.
I hear you're in a good mood today, crapping on cities.
No. I'm in a good mood. Brock asked me if I like Nashville. The only times I've been there for the winter meetings, and I said, no, not really.
Well, that's your fault for not going out and seeing the town. And then you were Kansas City too.
I was making $10 an hour when I went there. I was paying my own way to the winter meetings. The fact that I was there was enough. And Joe Haggerty and I were staying in a place that had legitimately had vandalism on the inside. It had the inside of the hotel room had tags and graffiti on the door. I was like, well, I don't know that I got the best view of what Nashville is.
Did you add to the art?
I'm not a great artiste, unfortunately. Yeah, it wasn't. Still nicer than St. Louis. Anyway, Jeff, it was nice watching Sunday Night Baseball this week, and it was basically a 3-hour tribute to Seattle and the Mariners and the players and the organization. They did an awesome job with it. And then the guy that we were talking about just the other day, John Heyman, found out that Cal Raleigh was a person in Major League Baseball by watching that game and started saying he should be an MVP candidate.
I mean, he had quite the game. The whole night was just fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh.
And look, as somebody who grew up in a small market in Cleveland, who lives in a small market now in Kansas City, and who appreciates when the giants of the game are not monopolizing our television sets, I'm all for more Mariners and Royals and the best non-big market teams being on the biggest games and on the biggest stage, because I think the Mariners, they came to play this weekend. You know, the Mets had been scuffling a little bit, but had thrust themselves back into playoff contention, and the Mariners almost went the entire weekend without giving up a run, and it was a damn impressive thing to see.
What are the Mariners from a market standpoint?
I think they're in the middle, but let's remember the evolution, Brock, of the game. The Mariners, once upon a time, like the Cleveland Indians I grew up watching, had among the highest payrolls. And while that is still possible, you need a very generous owner to do that, and someone who is willing to potentially lose some money for the longer term prospects of the franchise. And I would argue, guys, that the San Diego Padres are the perfect example of how to take a middle of the road market in terms of size of city and revenue and turn it into a machine. If you see what they do at Petco Park all the time and the crowds that they're drawing and the events that they have, I understand it's a little bit different in Seattle because you've got the Seahawks and because the Padres essentially own San Diego now. But at the same time, I know what Seattle fans are like, and I know that they could be just as good as San Diego.
How is it possible that baseball teams are as inconsistent as what we've seen this year? It just, and maybe we're a little biased here in Seattle. Maybe I'm just seeing the more inconsistency than everybody is. But, I mean, just thinking about what you said about the Mets and then the Yankees and, just all of these teams, even the Tigers who we watched and then watched them go back into a tank. Is that just the norm now? Everyone's inconsistent?
No, it's not the norm, which is why the whole thing is so stunning to me. If you look at the standings right now, there's not a single team playing .600 baseball. We've gotten so used to the teams at the top being so much better than the rest of them that the notion of a season without a 100-win team is foreign. And it's foreign because it hasn't happened over the last 9 years. But it is decidedly trending that way. The last time we had a season without a 100-win team was 2014 when the Angels won 98 games, I believe, and promptly got swept in their first-round playoff series against Kansas City. So it's reminding me of that. And honestly, I dig it, man. And you know, maybe I'm just like a positive person because I also like when they're like juggernauts, just because it keeps open the option of a lesser team beating a bigger team, and I always like that. But the parity in baseball right now is very real, and I have no idea what my playoff predictions are going to be this year, because I also don't know which teams are going to make the postseason. But one thing I will say is I have very limited confidence that they're going to be good, because I feel like this is as wide open a playoff field as I've seen in a long time.
And Jeffrey, I know we've talked about this a lot, but I found myself last night with no Mariners game on, flipping around a little bit on my MLB package and watching a bunch of the other West Coast games, and I was reminded of how much elite pitching there is in this league. Chris Sale and Blake Snell going at it yesterday. I mean, the Padres, the Pirates were both dealing. The bullpens, they've got just filth that comes out of that now, obviously, in San Diego as much as anybody in all of baseball. Will we not see a 100-win team because it is so stinking hard to hit consistently?
Well, let's remember, too, Brock, that it was hard to hit consistently 2 years ago when the offensive numbers were almost identical to what they are right now. I haven't checked it this week, but I looked last week, and the batting average was the same. The on-base percentage was the same, like not similar, the same.
This is before the rule changes. This was before the
correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Wow.
Which is the awfully interesting element of it, that Major League Baseball instituted these rules changes in hopes of juicing the offense, and offense has promptly within a year gone back to exactly where it was beforehand. Now, that's not to suggest the rule changes have been failures. I think the pitch clock is still the most wonderful thing, and I experienced it for the first time last night when I hadn't done a sideline reporting gig on TV since the pitch clock came in.
Yeah, you did good last night. I was listening to you at Red Sox game, right?
I saw Seth Manukin's kid was shouting at you. That's pretty exciting.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. So I used to have a little time to breathe in between pitches and tell stories and, share anecdotes. And like last night, there was just no time. There's never time because it's just boom, 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 boom. And this was like a slow game, too. It was a 3-hour game even before going into extra innings. So I think the pitch clock has been awesome for the game. And I guess I like that there's no shift, but it really hasn't done a whole lot to change things. I think guys are just so programmed into hitting a particular way because pitching is so good now that it has fundamentally changed the game, and how you get offense back or whether you get offense back, it's going to be a hard thing for Major League Baseball to do.
Noted optimist Jeff Passan joining us here.
I saw you kind of shrug your shoulders
he
at
just
that.
said I'm a positive guy. I was noting that we once had an open for him. They called him the wet blanket. I mean,
yeah, I know, but that was a misnomer.
You were harshing buzzes all day. I mean, that was.
Listen, you may have believed that at the time.
Yeah.
But was I wrong?
I don't even remember what you were talking about.
Do we still have that in our? Do we still have that in our system?
That's what I was talking about.
Do we still have that open in our system?
I'm not harshing buzzes.
Yeah, that's you. You're a buzz harsher. Mariners made a kind of a surprise, not even necessarily surprising, just unexpected move yesterday, signing Victor Robles to this extension. What did you make of that? And then I guess further, it gives you 6 outfielders heading into next year. How do you think all that shakes out?
I'm fine with depth in an offense that has had a lot of difficulty scoring runs. And I think this was a hedge against the market, right? Victor Robles comes in, as everybody saw on Sunday Night Baseball. He's got a pretty dynamic personality. He plays center field. He's hit a little bit. He can run. And on the free agent market, this sort of player tends to go for, $4, $5, $6 million. If you want to compare him to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, just in terms of the type of production he can provide, he got $7 million times 2 years, and they get an option as well. And the best part, I think, is they get young seasons. Victor Robles is only 27 years old, so the idea that you're getting a couple of guaranteed seasons for a guy in his 20s and then have an option on top of that you have clear backup if Julio Rodriguez ever goes down again, and somebody who can play center field. I like the move for them, and I didn't think it cost too much. Something like that where you get a guy who just got DFA'd by his team. You never see him get extended within 2 months. Like, I think this is pretty unprecedented, but I don't mind it. Victor Robles is a guy who fell out of favor in Washington and clearly has made a good impact and a good impression on the Mariners at this point. And for a sum that, frankly, isn't all that much at 9.75 guaranteed over 2 years, I'm totally on board with that.
Noted optimist Jeffrey Passan here with us every Tuesday morning.
Get done, by the way. Why don't they give him 10 years over $2 million?
10 years over $2 million. That would be below the major league minimum.
All right. Why don't they give him 2 years and $10 million? Why the 9.78? Like, really, you don't just want to make it a 5 year?
It was 9.75. The belief I had was that he was asking for 10. The Mariners were offering 9.5, and they just settled in the middle.
Okay, that makes sense.
Listen, Mike. If somebody comes up to you and says, "You know what? I'm going to give you an extra $250,000." Sometimes we get so caught up in these numbers that we forget. Victor Robles was on his way to Korea before the Mariners signed him. No, like literally, he was going to be going and playing in the KBO, and so the fact that he's getting this much guaranteed money, I think, is what prompted the extension talks. And the Mariners, they understood that and used that to their advantage and got a good deal for a guy.
Jeff, a refrain you have shared with us over the years, which we have not disagreed with at all, and I think many have also jumped aboard with, is the Mariners go as Julio Rodriguez goes. The Mariners have 43 games to go in this sprint with the Houston Astros. I compared it to the 4x400 relay at the Olympics that we got to watch on the final day. Do the Mariners still go as Julio Rodriguez goes?
Well, Julio Rodriguez hasn't gone lately, and the Mariners have. So I think that if he gets back to maybe not even the Julio of last year, but a more representative version of himself, that they're going to be in a far better position, Brock. And it's interesting that you say in this race with the Astros. I think this has gone under the radar for a lot of people. The Mariners are only 2 games back of the Royals for the last wild card spot right now. So it's not as if it's West or bust anymore. They have thrust themselves with these 4 consecutive wins back into the wild card mix. And so it's been interesting to see over the last week, the 2 best pitching staffs in Major League Baseball have been number 1, the Mariners with a 2.33 ERA, and number 2, the Astros with a 2.6 something, I think, ERA. So they are dueling it out right now, and it's to the point where if the Royals don't get their act together and the Red Sox are sort of looming there, I think a half game behind the Mariners as well, we've got a chance for a real dogfight down the stretch here when it comes to the wild card. And the Mariners don't need to put all their eggs in the AL West basket.
You ever seen a team get shut out over an entire 3-game series?
No.
I don't think I have either.
I vaguely recall seeing something that it hasn't happened. That seems like, with as much baseball has been played over the last 100-something years, it seems impossible that a team would not get shut out over a 3-game series at some point. But boy, they were awfully close. And it's not as if the Mets lineup, guys, is just a bunch of slappies. Like, there's some good hitters in that lineup.
Yeah, 7 of the 9 guys were slugging over 400. I think the opening night of the series on Friday, the Mariners had 2 of 9 slugging over 400. That has since changed, but the Mets had 7 of 9.
Don't they have the 5th best offense in the league this year heading into the series?
Yeah, and the Mariners pitching, I did like Troy Taylor coming in at the end and just throwing cheese. It was nasty. Like,
we call him Mumbles. We call him Mumbles. I don't know if you noticed. He was
My
mumbling some angry words.
10-year-old daughter's like, why is he such an angry pitcher? I was like, I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. He seems very upset to be making his major league debut. I don't know what to tell you. Hey, I saw you. Was it you? Who was talking about the Olympics and whether or not these players?
Yeah, that was me.
I thought that was you. What's going to go on here? Because watching, as much as America was obsessed with the Olympics this go around, and with the potential, marketing event for Major League Baseball when this thing's in Los Angeles in 4 years, I know it's hard. It's in the middle of the season. I know you might have to either delay or do an 140-game season or something in order to make it happen. But doesn't baseball have to find a way to get their best players into the Olympics next time?
I have 3 words, Mike. Figure it out.
Yes.
The Olympics are such an enormous and immense opportunity for baseball to market itself on a global scale that you have to take it if it's there for you. There's no promise or guarantee that baseball is going to be in the Olympics past 2028. And while the counter argument from a lot of people is that, hey, we've got the World Baseball Classic for this, my counter to that is more baseball is never a bad thing. And more international baseball is certainly not a bad thing, particularly when you see how exciting the WBC actually was this last time.
Right.
I mean, that at bat between Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, I was in Miami for it, and it was one of the I've covered baseball for more than 20 years now. It was one of the coolest moments I can remember. I've seen the Red Sox win their first championship in 86 years. I've seen the Cubs win their first championship in 100-plus years. And at the end of my career, whenever that is, Ohtani versus Trout in the 2023 WBC will be something that will be near, if not at, the top of the list.
So how would you do it?
How cool it was.
So how do you make it work if you're Major League Baseball?
And will it be on the negotiating table as they do their CBA in the next couple of years?
100% will be on the table. Absolutely. And how do you do it? It's not simple, right? I think you move the All-Star, you bang the All-Star game for 1 year. You move it back, the pause to the time of the Olympics, and you try and get the Olympics done in a week to 10 days, something like that. And it's a little bit more of an extended period. I understand that, and it's inconvenient, but there's going to be presumably well over 100 major league players who are going to be participating in the Olympics. And if you can manage that, if you can figure out the best way to do it, you have to. I know people talk about what's it going to do to pitchers. What about pitching injuries? Yeah, they're doing a great job of keeping guys healthy already. So it's not me. It's not me dismissing it. It's me just suggesting that if the concern is about pitching injuries, it's a whole lot bigger of an issue than just taking 10 days off and pausing the season. And I understand the concerns. But one thing, you want to talk about me trying to be Mr. Brightside here. I think COVID taught baseball a lot about being nimble and about being able to operate on the fly. And baseball players, as we've seen, they are creatures of habits, but they also adjust to what's necessary. And I think if you can sell the players on, you don't have to sell Bryce Harper. I mean, he is gung-ho. And I asked Rafael Devers, I talked with him yesterday in Boston. I said, hey, would you play in the Olympics? Like, of course I would, as long as my team allows me. And that to me is going to be maybe the biggest part of this. It's Rob Manfred, who is very bullish on this idea, convincing owners that they're hundreds of millions of dollars that they have invested in players to let them go. Because for every incident like Edwin Diaz at the WBC, what you get out of an event that's international and has the scope and scale that the Olympics do far outweighs whatever negatives you may have.
Jeffrey, I think maybe you're right on this. Maybe you too, like pre-COVID, post-COVID, because that Open we used to play, Maura, I think Maura found it. I think this was pre-COVID. Jeff Passan. And since COVID, you've become so much more nimble, so much more positive, and more if you want to fire. Like, this doesn't make as much sense anymore.
Jeff Passan, the wet blanket, raining on parades, harsh and buzzes all day.
They're going to have bad years coming up.
Jeff Passan, the wet blanket.
So good. I like, honestly, I miss it, and I may just have an ultra dour day one of these times. Just like, I'll let you guys know beforehand if I'm coming in hot and not feeling particularly good, and you know it's going to be a wet blanket day. We're going to make that happen.
You got a new lease on life. You almost broke your back. I mean, like...
Almost. He broke his back.
You broke your back.
He broke his back.
Yeah, I mean...
It was spinal. The tree hit him.
It's kind of giving you a new lease on life in many ways.
I mean, has it?
Well, you're positive now, and, before that, maybe a little bit different.
Okay, settle the debate. Settle my last question, then you can hog in the rest of the time. Yesterday, Sulk and I got into it a little bit, and it was great. It was a good, healthy little debate. So the Olympics just ended. You're a judge. It's a floor routine, and the season ends today. And you have to judge the body of work of Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Luis Castillo. Who is the gold, silver, and bronze medalist on their season performance to this point?
Oh, boy. That's a really good one, man.
We'll take Wu and Miller out of it. Obviously, Wu's not as many starts. Miller's been phenomenal, taking the next step, but his numbers just don't. Well, actually, they're pretty close to Luis's, actually. But I'm going to take him out of it. I'll just give you Luis, Logan, Kirby, gold, silver, bronze.
Well, Gilbert's. The first thing I always think of is innings, and I believe that Logan Gilbert, when three guys are as close as these three are. Logan Gilbert's got the lead on innings, and that matters. Like, I'm looking at it now, throwing 13 more innings over the same number of starts as George Kirby, and throwing more innings than Luis Castillo, and Castillo's got one more start. Kirby's got the peripherals. The strikeouts are almost identical for all of them, but Kirby's walks, you guys know about, fewer home runs. Oh, man. I think I'm probably – I know I can't give out co-medals. That's such a cop-out. I'm probably going Gilbert, Kirby, Castillo.
Sure.
But I think you could make a very good argument for Kirby, Gilbert, Castillo.
Of course, that's not really the question that Brock and I were debating yesterday.
Pretty much was.
Not at all.
What was it? What was the
It was who had a better start this past weekend against the Mets.
Well, fine. I say Logan once again.
It had nothing to do with the entirety of the season. It was who had a best start of the three.
Don't
and
let
I said,
facts get in the way,
I said as
Sulk.
much as Luis gave up the one run, I actually thought he might have been the most dominant of the three. And Brock has somehow turned that into, I think Luis Castillo has had a better season than the other two guys, which is not the case.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm glad you clarified. Thanks.
I don't think I needed to clarify. We were having a different conversation.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember it that way.
Clearly.
I misremembered, Mr. Pettit. Yes.
Jeffrey, thank you for saving me for at least 25 minutes. We'll do it next week. Thanks, man.
Look forward to it.
All right, there you go. There's Jeff Passan coming in to, mediate or something.
By the way,
you can't change the argument. That's not what I said.
No, I understand that. We were debating just the weekend, but the weekend was a little bit of a microcosm of these guys' greatness all season long.
But I would have a different answer if you were to ask me about the whole season.
Well, I didn't ask you the whole question.
No, you just put words in my mouth. It's unfair.
I just apologized to him for
Who did?
I said, sorry, they're having their couples quarrel in front of you. He said, I enjoy playing marriage counselor.
Yeah.
By the way, I know we got to run.
Yeah.
By the way, what would have
hang on
been
to that thought. We got to run.
Okay.
We'll come back. You can give me your by the way thoughts. We got a lot left to do here in the final hour. It's Brock and Sulk, Seattle Sports on 710 SeattleSports.com.
Seattle Sports is your exclusive home for Mariners baseball.
The relay to first is in time for the double play.
Every strikeout.
Strike three called and the ball game is over. The Mariners win it 12-1.
Every home run.
Swing and a drive. Deep to right center. That baby's way gone.
Every Mariners win.
Goodbye, baseball.
Stream every game at SeattleSports.com or on the Seattle Sports app. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners.
All right, Mike Sulk here, and yes, you may see some creatures around your home this time of year that are not wanted. You don't want them there, right? You certainly don't want rats or any sort of rodent. And this is the time of year you get some buzzing bees, wasps, hornets. You don't want that in your neighborhood, or certainly not in your home. And so that's why Crawl Pros has Pest Pros. They are the full-service pest control division of Crawl Pros, and they can come out and take care of a hive or a nest and just remove that thing. You don't want to do it yourself. You can get stung, but they can do it professionally before the problem becomes bigger and somebody does find themselves hurt. They'll use eco-friendly treatments. They keep ants, stinging insects, and all sorts of critters from making their way into your home or even being in your yard. So if you're worried about rodents or ants or other bugs or any issue around your home, call Pest Pros or visit gopestpros.com. That's gopestpros.com.
Hey everyone, Tom Nelson for Cressy Door. Since 1952, we've been installing garage doors for your home, building, or dealership. If you need Cressy Door service or a whole new set of doors, visit our friends at Cressy Door. Make your next garage door a Cressy Door.
Oh no, your furnace died. Your hot water heater's leaking. Your drains are clogged. Your AC's blowing hot air. Inconveniences? No, they're emergencies. Don't fear. Call Deere Services. Visit deerservices.net. Make an appointment and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you $100 credit. And get this, you will never pay a service fee. Bookmark DEARservices.net, because if you're a homeowner, it'll happen to you someday. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Shane Company is your trusted spot for fine jewelry. Whether you're looking for a meaningful gift or something that's just so you, our in-house design team travels the world to dream up pieces you won't find anywhere else. We have looks for every occasion and for any style, from modern to classic to vintage inspired. Or you can work with one of our expert jewelry consultants to create a piece that's exclusively yours. Get inspired at shaneco.com or just stop by. We're here to help you find jewelry that feels like it was designed just for you. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Other places make you pay extra for that, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from less. Book your appointment at leschwab.com. Terms and conditions apply. See leschwab.com for details.
I started Davis Law Group 30 years ago with the goal of bringing the highest quality of legal representation to accident victims. Seattle has changed a lot in that time, and the needs of drivers and accident victims have grown. I'm happy to say that we have too. We've expanded our team to take on the biggest challenges for accident victims across the state. Contact Washington's best personal injury team today at 206-888-8888 or visit us online at davislawgroupseattle.com.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said Maraca, senor, but his nose said, hey, freshest scent ever. Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing. Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads, way fresher than detergent alone.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll by. Now, you just can't wait for the Harbor Freight parking lot sale to roll around. And it'll be here this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Breaking news, Mike McDonald is not Pete Carroll and communicates very differently. That story in 30 minutes here on Brock and Salk.
So here's a thought.
Yeah. You had an oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way, Thursday we got a little shorter show. Oh, good. Okay, we still have, here's the thing. Okay. Whew. I was going to be a little worried about that. We will still be able to fit that in. Here's a thought I had. You probably weren't watching this because you weren't into Olympus as much as some others were. And I just so happened to be watching. I don't normally watch the high jump, but it was an incredible competition, like a lot of them were, and came down to two guys. And this is like that whole sharing the medal thing. This is where it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
They had shared the gold in Tokyo. Dude from New Zealand, dude from America. Both had kind of hit a height and could not get any further.
Yeah, and that's sort of the one sport where that can happen, right?
That's right. The two have to agree.
Right.
Do you want to have a jump off and kind of lower the bar back down, or do you want to shake hands and we both get to be gold medalists? It's kind of a fascinating conversation.
And it makes sense. Like you've both achieved the same height. Like, okay, you're
right.
even. There is no winner here.
So they shared the gold in Tokyo, and I believe it was the American, at least the way that it was presented, sure looked like not this time. And you could see like right away, he's like, you know what, we're going to go back down and we're not going to share our gold this time around. Maybe because they did it once already, it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. So we're going to go back. And it actually ended up costing them because the New Zealander ended up making the jump.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah. So curious if you were in that position, what would you do? Would you share I asked Molly and Titus and Macy and Haley. We had a good, fun little kind of conversation about that. And obviously,
I think in that specific sport, in that event, I would happily share the gold.
I think I would too.
Because it's not like, it's not like you're calling a tie and more time will figure it out. Like, yeah, we both jumped the same height.
That's right.
That's just how high
and
we
can
missed, each jump.
And we missed like 3 times at that next height.
Absolutely. Right.
Yes.
Like you've gone through and tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
And dropping it feels like now you're changing it into a different sport. Like now it's an endurance sport. That's not really what this is supposed to be. We've proven that we can jump to this height.
Yep.
Yeah, I think in high jump or pole vault or long jump or whatever it is where there's an actual measurement, I'm totally fine with a tie and just splitting it in that.
I think I am too. Okay, so now let me be fair to you. I was not fair
you also
to
had
you.
The poor French, the French guy who was knocking the pole off. You saw that?
Oh, was this a pole vaulter?
He was the pole vaulter.
Oh, great. Yes.
Let's not talk about that.
Whoa, poor guy.
Poor guy.
I mean, yeah. He went viral for all the right reasons.
Yes,
but like,
geez.
what a tough way to lose. I mean, geez. You would think that you could do something about that, like with tape. Right? Like, isn't there some way to ensure that that's not a problem?
So to be fair to you, let me get back and present the question the same way to you that I presented it to Jeff Passan, because you're right, it was a little unfair.
It was very unfair
Not
what you just did.
terribly unfair.
Yes, it was.
Not terribly unfair.
It was completely unfair.
Maybe just a little unfair. If you were to, the season ends today, if you were to give the gold, silver, and bronze to the 3 Mariners pitchers.
Yeah, he had it right. Logan 1, George 2, Logan gold, George silver, and Luis bronze.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, I don't even think that's really that big a debate. Like, I think that's actually pretty clear. Logan's been so good this year that, I think that's actually pretty simple.
Well, yesterday you tried to diminish and you brought in his last.
Didn't.
Yes, you did. I went back and watched the tape and you were like, well, he's had a couple bad starts. I'm like, what?
No,
he
I
had
only
not.
brought that up because you started to bring up what they'd done recently. And I was like, well, if you're looking at what they've done recently, Logan has had a couple of recent starts that weren't that good. You brought it up. I just added to it.
Yeah,
I am totally fine saying that Logan's been their best pitcher
exaggerated
this
and
year.
said it was so bad against Houston, which it wasn't. It was a bunch of errors. He gave up one
but one of them
earned
was
run.
his error.
Well, that's true.
One of them was the error that he made. And then he had a really tough night in Boston. Look, I love stop putting me in a position of attacking Logan Gilbert, who I think has been incredible and has had the best season of any Mariner pitcher so far this year.
And I love that he plays EA college football after that start, too. I love
He had a great quote. Oh, God, I should find it. I didn't know you were going to go down this road. I should find the quote. Lookout Landing posted it the other day. So let me see if I can find it. But it involved a phrase that I know you love, servant leadership. Right? You're a big servant leader guy, right?
Love that. It's Tony Dungy right there.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find this because it was a line from servant leader Logan Gilbert. And, oh, man, talking about how important it was for him to go deep into games.
Well, I think that jumps out, too. I mean, and Jeff kind of referenced that. He's at 154 innings, not missed a start. And obviously, health is precarious for any pitcher. So, be careful about putting the cart before the horse with the season end. But he's on his way again to doing what he did last year. And that is just be a horse.
This is from Lookout Landing on Saturday. Servant leader Logan Gilbert on why he considers 6 innings, quote, the bare minimum. As a young guy, I felt like other guys were covering my innings. Marco, Robbie, Flexen, different guys. So I want to be able to do that for the younger guys and for the bullpen.
Wow.
Isn't that a great quote?
So good.
I meant to talk about it yesterday, and we got caught up in a bunch of other different stuff. But great quote and awesome for Lookout Landing to put that out. Nice job by Kate or whoever did that, because that is, to me, Logan Gilbert, and in many ways, baseball in a nutshell. Yeah, those guys did it for me when I was young, and I got to do it for the guys now because Bryce sometimes isn't going to be able to go that deep, and Brian sometimes isn't going to be able to go that deep, or the bullpen gets beat up, and because Robbie Ray and other guys did it for me, I'm going to do it for them. That's how you pass it on. God, I just love that. I love that view of the world.
I do too, and I know we talked a little bit about this, and because the guys on Sunday Night Baseball did, Coney and the guys in the booth, of like how much these guys truly, genuinely enjoy and have a kinship and a friendship that is unique. That doesn't happen in baseball. And this is one of those, again, just intended consequences, positive consequences of being homegrown. Nobody washes the car like the owner.
Okay, so
when you are drafted and when you are developed and you come up together and you spend time on tasks together and you work with one another, and we see it in spring training.
Here, so this you're right, 100% on all of this, Brock. You and I see this very much eye to eye. And I played some sound in the 6 o'clock hour this morning from Jason Churchill, who was on talking about this offseason and why it's going to be so important for the Mariners.
We're going to start running out of time when it comes to the huge advantage that Cal Raleigh is at the salary they're paying him. Same with George Kirby, same with Bryce Miller, same with Brian Wu, same with Logan Gilbert.
He goes on from there, and I'll cut it short here, but it caused me to say, while I have always been very hesitant about major free agent spending in baseball, because sometimes you get Corey Seager, and sometimes you get Trevor Story, and sometimes you get Trevor Simeon, and sometimes you get Chris Bryant. Yes, that's exactly the comp I made earlier. I feel a little differently when it comes to signing your own guys.
Yep.
And that doesn't mean you go crazy. It doesn't mean that you allow them to hold you hostage or overpay. But I feel a whole lot better about making a decision to keep your own guy here long term and spending your money there than I do about taking the big risk in free agency.
And you got a servant-hearted dude like that, and that truly is not just words. That is his makeup.
Yep.
Oh, man, as exciting as it was to hear about a 2-year, $10 million deal, 9.75 for Victor Robles.
And I know they've approached most of these guys. I mean, the fact that a deal hasn't gotten done doesn't mean that it won't, or doesn't mean that the Mariners don't want it to. I mean, you've got to have both sides on that agree that they want to do something before free agency, and someone like Logan or George may just say, yeah, I want to go to free agency. Like, the bidding war is going to be so exceptional for my talents that I'm going to go to free agency. I would caution them a little bit just based on how many great pitchers are around the game right now that there may not be. And maybe that's a point the Mariners need to consider as well, right? Like, are these guys going to be as good in their contract years as they are in their arbitration years? Yeah, I mean, those are very real questions they got to work through. But I do feel a lot better about spending money to keep your guys than I do about spending it to acquire guys from the outside. And I think I know that you agree on that. Let's come back here. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. And then, as I said, huge news. Mike McDonald, Pete Carroll, different. Different in the way they communicate, different in almost every way. And we've got some evidence coming up in 20. It's Brock and Salk. Sales Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
He is Ryan Roland Smith.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners and Victor Robles have agreed on a 2-year, $9.75 million contract extension with a $9 million team option for 2027. What do you think of that move?
First of all, a bargain, right? If he's putting up these numbers or close to, that's a great deal. I love this move. I think it's good. Man, he's been my favorite player the last couple of months, that's for sure.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Frustrated with your insurance? The answer is yes. I know many of you are. Are you curious? Are you getting the lowest rate? Are you curious? Are you getting bang for the buck and getting covered what you need covered for you and your family? Are you getting the proper coverage? Well, it costs you nothing to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge and go find out. We heard so many First Mark Challenge victories that save people thousands of dollars a year. Molly and I decided and looked at each other and said, why don't we do this? Why don't we take the challenge? And boy, am I glad we did. It has saved us thousands on our premiums, but right alongside that, now I know exactly what I have covered. Here's how First Mark is your teammate going to work for you. They will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at some serious risk. Then, unlike you and me, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers they've got relationship with to find you the best fit. That's it. No stress, no confusion. They're your teammate. Pretty servant-hearted about it as well. For the last 30 years, helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait a morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge. It's totally free. And you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory that we get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
This is Stacey Rost. Is that leaky faucet driving you crazy? Don't wait until it becomes a flood. Call Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air. At Ben's Plumbing, they pride themselves on 5-star service, where your satisfaction is their priority. Whether it's a stubborn clog or a complete plumbing overhaul, their team of dedicated professionals is here to help with no commission sales tactics. Just honest, reliable service you can count on. Call today at 206-789-5353 or visit Ben's.plumbing. That's Ben's.plumbing.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. And with the Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through September 15th, purchase high-quality GAF with Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com. Two things you're looking at when you're shopping for a new car or SUV: choice and exceptional deals. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett and you'll be satisfied with both. Which Mazda moves you? Find out at Mazda of Everett. Choose from over 600 new Mazdas in stock, and right now they're offering 0% financing on all new Mazda CX-5s, CX-30s, CX-50s, and CX-90s on approved credit. Need more reasons? They also treat you like family and want you to drive away happy. See for yourself at MazdaofEverett.com.
High five! Up top! Heck
Heck yeah! Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep, Dave's feeling it. But it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
The Mariners are all about giving you more baseball for your buck. Snag seats for as little as $10 on select dates all season long with Mariners Value Games. Plus, be sure to check out the Mariners Value Menu, available at every game and featuring 11 items priced from $2.50 to $4. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and peanuts, new treats like churros and chocolate chip cookies, and more. To get your Value Game tickets and check out all the value options at T-Mobile Park, go to mariners.com/value.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
I'll tell you what, man, every time the Mariners have a day off, I need them to play the next day. I start really jonesing. Like last night, got home, I had Cecily at hockey practice, grabbed a little Chipotle with her. I'm like, where the heck are the Mariners? Like, I need a game on. So fortunately, we'll have one today and tomorrow as they are in Detroit to take on the Tigers. Hopefully, this goes better than it did here. Kirby, Wu, and Miller are your 3 pitchers. Brock, you want to rank those 3 guys? How good they've been this year?
No, they've all been excellent as well.
Okay, just checking.
On that list, I mean, Kirby, but Wu's numbers, by the way, what did Jeff call them, metrics?
Yeah,
they're pretty off the charts as well. Holy cow.
You got one game to get in. You want Wu or Miller right now?
I want Wu.
Wow, I think Wu.
Lyle just jumping in.
Thanks,
Wu.
Lyle. No, I love that. I love that's the cocksuredness we're looking for. I love that. I think I would say Wu as well.
I would say Wu unless you could unless there's a team that is going to line up like 9 lefties. Like the Mariners did a little bit the other day with all the righties they had in the game against
probably tonight. I'm going to say the Mariners will probably have upwards with a couple switch hitters.
I know they do a pretty good job like that.
They do.
It would probably depend a little bit on the number of lefties, but yeah, I think I'm probably with you guys. I'd want Brian Wu out there. In any event, Tarek Skubal going to go for the Tigers tonight, then a couple of bullpen games later here in this series. Astros win again yesterday. That's 6 straight now for them, and they're getting Justin Verlander back. So a half-game lead for Houston right now in the division.
Yeah, I mentioned this in the last Need to Know. Detroit is a team that has played better on the road than they have at home. They came into your park, played, I thought, with tremendous energy and edge to the point that Cal Raleigh had to say something about it. Like, there's no reason that we should not have that kind of same intensity and energy, especially now with 43 games to go as we come down to the final quarter pole of the season. After this series, you will be in the final 25% of the season. So go win this series. I'm not asking you to sweep them. You could sweep them if you can get this one tonight, but find a way to win this series in Motor City.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Victor Robles is going to be a Mariner for a while. He signs a 2-year extension yesterday worth just under $10 million, and then a $9 million option that the team will hold for 2027. Brock, you always say no one washes a car like the owner, and they got an opportunity to be around Victor Robles before making this deal. 937 texting in, I am detailing a car right now as a professional. Please, Brock, stop saying that. Owners stink at washing their cars.
Sorry, golly.
It's all caps.
Fine. I don't want to take your livelihood. You're awesome at it. Those detailers are amazing. And your tools, like any carpenter would tell you, you're only as good as your tools. Those detailers, like G back in the day, got some crazy tools to go and get it done.
Really helps.
How about just care factor? Nobody cares for their own home. Nobody cares like the owner does.
Certainly more than the renter.
Maybe that's a better way.
Maybe you're going to have to talk to Larry about
I can't imagine there's too many guys in the history of baseball that have been DFA'd by one team, hitting them like $160, that 70-something days later sign a a 2-year, $10 million
Crazy.
extension. That's a pretty remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, good for him, and should work out well, hopefully, for both sides.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Connor Williams is a Seahawk and will start practicing here shortly. We've spent a lot of time talking about him over the last couple of weeks, as this has been a slow process to get him onto the team, but he did sign a deal. He is in all likelihood going to end up their starting center, and it sounds like that could be as soon as week 1 of the regular season.
We got a pretty good plan in place now. He'll be with the sports performance folks for the next week or so. And until we can get him full speed for practice, but we're shooting for either Cleveland week or after to get him out here and practicing for real.
He's a difference maker. You got a couple of question marks on this team. One of the biggest is the interior of their offensive line, and he kind of eliminates some of that question mark.
High upside guy. John has been very tentative about paying guards the kind of money that the market has commanded for guards. And frankly, centers too, out there across the NFL. It's felt like you can find those guys, Christian Haynes and Anthony Bradford. You can develop them, you can build them, but have not seen like top 5 guy. Can I get a top 5? Roger, down there in Tacoma, I don't just want a guard. I want a top 5 guard. I don't just want I want a top 5 center.
He's a top 5 center?
He's a top 5 center. When healthy, the last 2 years, the metrics tell you that he is a top 5 center in this league, especially in the run game, which is not always the easiest as a center. You gotta be different, and he's different with his size, with his length, with his explosiveness. This will be a health deal, and once again, Mike McDonald I'm just gonna say it. He loves the sports and science guys.
He
certainly does.
Also got his team getting ready to practice in Tennessee. Joint practices this week.
There's an argument for that. Especially for the guys that get the most reps. Like the starters probably won't play in the game. They'll get the majority of the practice reps. We'll get the threes out there as well. So there's a method behind the madness. But yeah, you shouldn't see a lot of the starters on Saturday.
No, now we know. Sweet. Should make Saturday awesome. Hopefully it'll at least be on King TV so we can see the backups. We'll see. It's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show.
And by the way, they will be practicing. I just got a note from my buddy over there, kind of wondering if we can check in with Wyman tomorrow as he's flying out there. And we will continue our training camp coverage with Dave Wyman right there, eyes and ears and everything on the field. They will practice at 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. So I think we definitely got to get him on the horn.
Of course. That's
on
an
the
obvious
show.
one.
Yes. Yeah, during all that good stuff as they get after it tomorrow morning.
Definitely. Very cool. All right. Good stuff. That is everything you need to know. By the way, just because I happened to click on the text who was upset at you for the way you were talking about car washers. Earlier, this person said, hey, Saul, could you clarify, this is when we were talking about the Mariners offseason, if you think Houston would trade to us if you don't see any open doors with the Angels, is that just the Dipoto history? Couple of just quick answers to that. One, yes, it's the Dipoto history with the Angels on both sides of it. The Mariners have made deals with Houston before. Obviously, the Kendall Graveman one comes to mind more than any other, but also the name that I was associating there was a free agent. It was Alex Bregman, who you don't need to make a trade with them. You just sign him in the offseason. He's a Boris guy. I'd be very surprised if that happens, but doesn't mean it's not somebody that I would really like to see them bring in. All right. As I said, Pete and Mike McDonald are very different, Brock. I know this is breaking news to everybody, but new coach said a couple things yesterday. Just the tone, the tenor, the direction he chooses is so thoroughly different, and I quite frankly love it. We'll play you some examples next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
What two pass catchers are giving the Hawks the most value after watching the film from this Saturday?
Weekdays 10 to 2.
I'm thinking Jake Bobo and Laviska Shenault. They were both on punt cover, punt return. They were on the kickoff cover team. They did just about everything to help this ball club out. 81 is going to play. 81 is an impressive receiver. If you haven't been watching Laviska, man, take a good look at him. Not only when he has the football, but when he's blocking, when he's on special teams.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, if you are looking for something fun to do at night, Snoqualmie Casino has got to be on your list, right? I mean, 30 minutes from downtown, it is the place to go, and it's going to get even better next year. Man, the expansion is going to be crazy. Multi-phase expansion with a new hotel, expanded gaming floor, destination spa, 2,000-seat entertainment and convention center, and then a new parking structure, more signature restaurants. It is going to be awesome when that all gets going next year. For now, it's just a great place to watch sports, enjoy a great happy hour menu and everything that goes with it. You can find all your details at snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie casino.
Collectors, Front Row Card Show is coming to Seattle. Join us at the DoubleTree Hotel SeaTac on August 17th and 18th. Baseball, football, basketball, and hockey cards, plus Pokemon, Marvel, Star Wars, and comic books. SGC will be there. So bring your cards and comics to sell, trade, or get them graded. Hundreds of vendors, including pristine auction. Thousands of dollars in free prizes. Don't miss it. Front Row Card Show, DoubleTree Hotel SeaTac. Saturday and Sunday, August 17th and 18th, 11 to 5. For more info, go to frontrowcardshow.com. That's frontrowcardshow.com.
Hey everyone, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. If your summer list includes 18 holes and a new roof, give Techline a call and we'll come out for a free inspection. Trust Techline. They shoot from the tips.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing. Since 1917.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence dyne test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Looking for the best synthetic turf in the Northwest? At Synthetic Turf Northwest, we resell our premium line of Northwest Pro Natural products to both businesses and consumers. From industry-leading supplies to expert advice, we have everything you need to complete your installation, whether it's for your customers or for your own DIY project. Now through July 31st, ask about how you can beat the heat and save up to $1,000 on your next project. It's a limited time offer, so call us today and discover why we're the Northwest's trusted source for quality synthetic turf. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com, 425-788-0718.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
Listen throughout the week to the Mariners Players Spotlight.
Ever since I got here, I want to win a World Series in Seattle, and this city's starving for another winning team.
Presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
Motorcycle riders, Bob Stelton here. I love this time of year. The weather's nice. I'm out on the bike as often as possible. And knock on wood, I've never been in an accident. But maybe you have. And if you have, you need to call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. First of all, your case evaluation is completely free. They don't get paid until you get paid. And they should be the first call you make after a motorcycle accident. And I'll tell you why. Because they fight for you, the motorcycle rider, and your family to get you the compensation you deserve. With over 20 years of experience, they're going to handle your case with the respect and dignity you deserve. The insurance company wants to get away with paying out the lowest settlement they can as quickly as they can. With the Law Tigers, you don't have to handle your motorcycle case alone. So why should you hire Law Tigers after an accident? They can help you get your motorcycle and gear repaired or replaced. Law Tigers knows how important your motorcycle is to you, so after you've been in an accident, give them a call at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. They will get you the help that you need. Again, that's 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, Washington's motorcycle lawyers, Mateer Law Firm, LLC.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, final half hour or so of our show today, and it's been a fun one. Good chat with Jeff Passan, a lot of good baseball conversation today. Starting to look forward even a little bit to this offseason in addition to this last 7 or 8 week stretch and the sprint to the finish now for the Mariners. Brock, just some breaking news here a few minutes ago. Vikings rookie first-round pick, J.J. McCarthy, going to undergo knee surgery, and that will determine how much time he will be sidelined. Complained about knee soreness over the weekend, underwent an MRI on Monday night. They don't yet know how bad the meniscus is, but how extensive the surgery on his meniscus is will determine how long he will be sidelined. That all according to Adam Schefter.
Well, that's a bummer because he was starting to play well and was another one of those guys coming kind of out the gate. Also, 3-year starter there at Michigan, national champ, yada, yada, yada. And I know there was some concern about the volume of his game and the volume of his passing, but yeah, he was kind of coming on in training camp. So
it's a big
bummer for him.
That's too bad, really, for football fans. In any event, we got a chance to hear Mike Macdonald speak quite a bit recently, as training camp has really kind of pushed him out there a lot, right? He's speaking almost every day after practice, not to mention, the time he spent with us, et cetera. And, I'm starting to feel like we're getting a little bit more of what his personality is, right? More than I think we knew here in the offseason. We're not going to fully know until games start and we start really kind of getting to, see him in a bunch of different situations and scenarios. But I think one thing is very clear and different from Pete is just the way he talks about his players. It is. I have yet to hear, maybe I've missed one, something that doesn't come with a but. There's always a, but he could do better. And certainly with the young players, with the rookies and second-year guys, you hear it even more pronounced. This was on Tyrese Knight, who I think has played really well so far.
He's a rookie. He's doing the things. He's making plays that he needs to make right now to compete. But he needs to keep chasing it. There needs to be a sense of urgency there on his mentality, and he's doing that. But I told him it's going to take him 3 years. You haven't made it yet, buddy. You played one preseason game. You got a ways to go, but he'll get there. We're excited about him, but he's got some room to grow.
I think it's the buddy that really stands out on that one. What do you think?
Yep. Yeah, he's finding his voice, Mike Macdonald. I think from that very first press conference where I think he was more than competent. He was smart. We hear that again and again. He's thoughtful. But, yeah, I think all these are great experiences for him, too, to find his footing, to, and like he said to us, like the first team meeting, like cutting room floor, like you got a million things to say, but let's get right to the chase of it, and let's make sure these guys are tuned in and listening to what's most important for me. And the only way you get to that point is to do more and more of it. Speaking of Knight, I know the PFF guys loved his game. I thought he was good, but I totally agree with Mike. Hair on fire. Like there got to be. I need a little more urgency. He was in the right spots. He looked comfortable, but he's gonna have to really cut it loose. And hopefully, maybe another week of practice. These joint practices will be great for him because it's going to get really, really intense, and he's going to have to, I think, just step that urgency game up a little bit more.
Buddy. The buddy is really like, I can't quite
was
get
that
over
at the end of it?
It was like 2/3 of the way through. You want to hear it again? You want to hear the buddy? The buddy really makes it for me.
He's a rookie. He's doing the things. He's making plays that he needs to make right now to compete. but he needs to keep chasing it. There needs to be a sense of urgency there on his mentality, and he's doing that. But I told him it's going to take him 3 years. You haven't made it yet, buddy. You played one preseason game. You got a ways to go. But he'll get there. We're excited about him, but he's got some room to grow.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good.
You haven't made it yet, buddy. I love it, and I just again the sharp, stark contrast from the language that Pete would use all the time is it's so noticeable. This was on the other rookie, Byron Murphy.
Byron did play very well. All the things that we saw during practice, but same idea of, hey, it was a small dosage in terms of what we were asking you to do. Now let's up that a little bit and see how far he can take it.
It sounds like it pains him to admit that Byron played well.
You're right. There's always a but.
There's always a but. But listen, even to the beginning.
Byron did play very well.
He did play very well.
Fine.
It's how he sounds when the offense wins the day. Like, the offense did win the day. I have to admit it. Yes. Byron, yes, I know he was good. I don't like it. I don't want him to be good right now. I would like to be able to tell you that he stunk and really make him work harder. But he did play well. I'm sorry to say. But he needs to keep improving. It's not great yet.
I think Reek Woolen might be the only one that didn't get the.
He didn't get a butt.
This is him.
I see iron sharpening iron out there when he's going against the Wild, especially DK. But just someone that's on a mission.
Hold on, Maura. There's
he's
a
responding
butt.
to the coaching, and he's bought in, and I think the players are excited about him. So
sorry. Turn that one off.
I don't want to.
Try again, Maura.
Try again, Maura.
Try
That's
again.
a butt.
How about the O-line?
He said we're excited about him.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
hold on. How about the O-line? He was asked about the O-line, what he liked, what stood out, what they got to improve on. I'm going to guess with those big butts, there's got to be that conjunction in here as well.
Hold on a second.
Mirroring the rest of the football team, there's some really great plays, and there's some plays that we need to chase. Our offensive line, to a high degree, is going to, drive our football team. We expect great things out of them. And there's a high standard to play here, offensive line wise. But there's a lot of good stuff on tape. But I think we need to be more consistent. Especially with our targeting and some of the run schemes. And then I think we need to give our quarterback some more time in some of those critical pass situations.
So good. That is so good.
We're going to start counting these.
I like big butts. I like that conjunction. It's a pretty good one, right? And it's pretty cool that it's super, super consistent with all of the guys across all the spectrum of age and experience and what they bring to the table.
Yeah, I like what he did, but he could be better than that. And honestly, I really appreciate it. I'm sort of chuckling about it because now that you notice it, it's sort of hard to unhear it. Now you're going to be thinking it and listening for it every time he speaks. And hopefully he's not going to pull a Blowers and refuse to say it again now that we've been talking about it. But he really, it seems to be very much part of his messaging. And I love it. Yeah, you're doing great. You're not a freaking Hall of Famer. There's more to do. Yeah, you're doing cool. Great. Awesome. Way to play well. There's more you can do. You can be more consistent. You can play with your hair more on fire. You can make more plays. You can practice harder. You can do this better. I love this idea of constantly striving to do more.
Yep.
You're not going to sing this, are you?
Oh, no.
Are you sure?
And I think I told you the time I tried to play that song because I think it was Haley. It was
I
wearing
didn't know what it was about.
really inappropriate shorts.
Yeah.
So then I decided to pull my shorts up, really short shorts, put this song on and try to dance to it. And then after about 2 lyrics, I'm like, oh, yeah,
Rumple Smooth Skin?
Yeah.
What did Haley say at that point?
What's that?
What did Haley think of
with the song or my dance or my shorts?
How old was she?
All of it deeply inappropriate. I don't know, probably your girl's age, 10 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was younger, Sulk.
You were younger, yeah.
Younger.
Much younger. I mean, much younger man.
Much younger.
Before Molly was embarrassed to be with you.
If Mike McDonald's conjunction is but, Pete's was and.
Yeah, absolutely.
And.
Yeah, there's always more to add.
Always
and.
Yes.
And McDonald's like, yeah, it's good, but we'll see. And it's different than the Scott's service butt because Scott's always comes after the laugh, and then the butt ends up being more of the reality. Oh yeah, no, I mean he's great, but no, seriously, we love him, right? I mean, they're all using these these conjunctions in very, very different ways, and I think I kind of come from the McDonald's school of it's good, but it could be better.
Yeah. I think as we continue to just learn about Mike Macdonald, we're going to learn more and more that those imprints of the Harbaugh family, and especially John, a lot more time around John than Jim. And just, the coordinating 1 year there with Jim in Michigan, most of that time spent with John Harbaugh. I think a communication style very similar.
Got a text here from 360. He sounds like a guy that is well aware that his players see this stuff and only praise breeds complacency. He just won't have it. Was that part of why they needed a change? Was there a level of complacency here?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I want to be very careful when we kind of go back in time and do this and not have revisionist history or try to, whitewash lots of different things. I want to try to be as genuine and real. I think the big, honestly, in watching all of this new stuff over the last 7-8 months, watching this first game, kind of reinforced it that much more. That to me, it was not about complacency or edge or too much praise, is it was just the details of the football. And maybe you say, well, hold on a second, aren't those two things connected? Like, can't you and shouldn't you be both? Well, Pete's strength was more of building people and playing the long game and being positive and building them up. And he got his guys to play many times at a fever pitch. But I just don't think that there was enough horsepower. I just don't think that engine driving it had enough. And the rest of the league, it caught on. And both, I think, for Norton and Hurt, those were coordinator decisions that come back and bite, because I don't think there'll be coordinators again in the NFL for a reason.
We got a couple more minutes here before we finish this up by doing a little buy-sell today. But you're going to start these joint practices tomorrow. Do you have a sense as to what these are going to look like and what you hope to get out of those?
Going to be very physical. This is your chance to put the pads on back-to-back days. As much as the CBA has limited contact, as much as the CBA eliminates live tackling and no two-a-days and this and that, this is the one where, again, not done in the past, and maybe you're, in retrospect, you shoulda, coulda, woulda, because you needed these games, right? You needed not these games, these practices. And Mike Macdonald, without saying as much,
almost in lieu of the game, right?
Correct. Without saying as much, he was basically telling you, these two practices are more important than the game.
Yeah, well, that was the actual question. Is this more important than the game?
There's an argument for that. Especially for the guys that get the most reps, like the starters probably won't play in the game. They'll get the majority of the practice reps. We'll get the threes out there as well. So there's a method behind the madness. But, yeah, you shouldn't see a lot of the starters on Saturday.
Because the nice thing in a practice, Sulk, okay, here is our short yardage against these guys.
Right.
Here is our one-on-ones against these guys, different opponents.
And
to
you're
really
doing a team that you're not going to play in the regular season, so you don't have a lot of fear that, by going through it, you're going to be giving anything away.
That's right.
He likes it from an evaluative standpoint as well.
Man, I mean, we've talked about this before of why we're doing it, but one, the science behind it to kind of callous the team, get ready to go for the long haul. So that's number one, and just looking for the competition within a structured setting. I think they got a great team. They got a great coaching staff. So to do it in a tight manner, like right here, instead of in a game and kind of control the environment. And then it's an opportunity to evaluate a lot of the guys, where our starters are at, going against their starters, and then where the guys, 79 through 80, how those guys fit.
Okay, so you get evaluation out of it. And then let me play you one more cut. I got one more question for you on these. And this is Coach Macdonald talking about how they prepped for this by planning with the Tennessee coaches.
A lot. I mean, Brian's been great, very just open and about how they want to operate. We're trying to do the same thing. Jake Peets has kind of spearheaded that whole operation, so he's done a great job on our end. But a lot of communication on how we want to operate, and and then we'll get together before the whole thing kicks off on Wednesday and make sure everybody's on the same page, and the expectations from both sides is congruent.
Okay, so they work together to prep this whole thing. Do you think they talk together afterwards? And hey, what did you think of such and such a player,
sure.
et cetera?
I don't know about the personnel in that regard, but did this work? Did we like this? After day one of the practice tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Central, and they get done with it. Hey, did you get everything you needed? Was that enough 7-on-7? Was that enough 1-on-1? Was that enough 9-on-7? Was that enough? Did you get to evaluate your guys in the manner that I don't think they sit there and go, what do you think of DK? Hey, what do you think of, I don't think it's individual personnel. as much as it is, let's make sure when we need to do what we need to do to evaluate that we iron sharpen iron, that we give each other exactly what we do need. And this is also like super beneficial because this is not, hey, you know my tendencies, I know your tendencies. It's not Tariq going against DK for the last 4 months, right, in OTAs. Now I get to go against somebody that's not seen me.
Right.
And it gives you a new set of kind of fresh eyes and fresh evaluation and super beneficial.
Kind of like we got here, fresh eyes with Justin moving on to be a part of the social and digital team here in the building. We've got new eyes. We've got a fresh look with Lyle, who's joined the show. And today we're going to wrap things up by playing Buy or Sell.
Is Lyle a Zoomer?
He's like 12 years old, yeah. How
Lyle,
old are you again? 25?
Lyle, do you
26?
Lyle, do you characterize yourself as a Zoomer?
Elaborate on that.
Buy or sell? Is Lyle a Zoomer?
Yeah, he's Gen Z. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I'm Gen Z.
Okay.
Pretty clearly Gen Z.
He sounds uncertain.
He's a couple of years older than Haley. Right?
What is Lyle? How old do you say
26?
you are?
26. Yeah.
Okay.
Haley's what, 22?
21.
21. Okay, he's 5 years older than Haley.
Yeah. Wow. Youngin.
We're going to have to bring Haley in to produce
Sorry,
the show one
these
day.
old men have bad memories. How many times are they going to ask you how old you are?
I know he's 26. I said, whoa. I knew the answer.
Okay.
I'm a know-it-all.
Can't remember the age, can't remember getting lunch. You know, it is what it is.
I got you. Yeah. Oh, that's a shot at me. That's good. No, I like it. Yep, keep them coming.
Man.
All right.
I'll buy.
Sounds like we finally got somebody in here who's going to take some shots of Brock. Been waiting on this forever. I like the way this is developing. All right.
I will buy.
Maura, what are we buying and selling today?
Buy or sell PJ Walker as a better backup option for the Seahawks than Sam Howell?
Well, I got to sell that. I wanted to buy it.
Sold
I like
in the back row.
Sold to the lady in the second row.
Sold to the lady in the second row.
I like PJ. I thought he looked like he provided a little spark in practice. Sam played pretty well in the game. I got to give the man some credit.
PJ played really well in the game, too. 3rd and 16, 3rd and 17. Throwing those daggers, and you heard, well, maybe you weren't watching the fourth quarter. I watched the very end of these games, including I'm going to watch the very end of this game, even with the 3s and 4s. That's what you do. I mean, when you love your team the way that I love the team. And you heard Fouts and DJ, if you were listening, go, whoa, that's the throw that most 3s certainly don't make. And that's
clearly he's better than most 3. I mean, he's a backup quarterback in this game.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I don't have any doubt about that.
And it'll be kind of curious to see these teams around the league that don't have it to.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, honestly, a Chargers that don't feel good about Easton
If I'm
Stick.
the Chargers, I would take that guy in a New York second before I went with Easton Stick.
Right. Could be a good thing. Could be a trade thing.
Yeah.
Could be some value coming back. Nothing huge, but
maybe you get a 5th-round pick or something.
Maybe you
out
do.
of it. All right. I like it.
All right, buy or sell that the Mariners will have a brawl at some point this season. I know Sulk wants it, but
Sold.
buy or sell.
Sold.
You don't see it happening?
Second row. She's an 8. She's a 9. She's a 10. I know. No, I don't see it.
We're running out of time.
I think we're running out of time as well. I would sell this also.
But you did mention a Rosarena has a little edge to him.
I got a Mike McDonald butt here. Randy does at least open up the possibility. The thing about a brawl is that generally, if it's going to happen at this stage of the year for a team that's in contention, it's got to be from some other tension that has been boiling over time and not just something that flares up one day. But then you've got the look that Randy gives anytime anybody throws inside. And I'm like, yeah, he might end up just going with somebody at some point. So I don't think it's likely to happen. I would probably bet against it.
I did a half one.
But if I had to bet, in the 2+ years that Randy has left here in Seattle, we will see one at some point.
I like it. Okay. Buy or sell the Seahawks will have a kickoff returned for a touchdown under the new rule this year.
I'm buying this. Yeah, absolutely buying it. Just seeing, what we watched the other day, and as teams start to get a little better at this and figure out some of the ways to be creative with the new formation, yeah, it should open things up. I don't mean that they're going to run it back for touchdowns every game, but I hope it gets back to a level that is similar to what it was before they started making all the tweaks for the concussion protocol. And from what I saw in that game and watching a little bit of the Kansas City-Jacksonville game, it at least looks possible now. So
Yeah.
I'll buy it. Yes,
You know what? I'll buy it too. In the XFL back in the day, there were definitely some. And what it looks like, and I guess what it may be most analogous to from a scheme and a front and everything else, kind of like a third or fourth and short situation. And what do you see sometimes in third and fourth? There's a lot of bodies. I mean, there are going to be a lot of bodies to have to navigate because they're all. Through. But if you break through, you got a kicker.
Yep.
Right. And we saw Dicker the kicker have to make a tackle. We saw Jason Myers have to make a tackle. Kickers do not like to make tackles, so kind of like those short yardage runs can pop, and when they do, there's not really a last line of defense. Could lead that to happen. And one of the reasons the NFL made this move.
All right, next up, buy or sell. George Kirby wins the AL Cy Young.
Well, you can help that cause. I'm going to sell that, unfortunately. Second row. She's an 8, she's a 9, she's a 10. I know she got ruby red lips. You could help his cause by mashing Scooble today. That would help. I mean, just do something that really nobody else has hardly done against that guy because his numbers are outrageous. I mean, out of this world, his next level stuff. So go put a 5 spot, go put a 6 spot, go knock him out of the game in 4 or 5 innings. So if you want a Logan or you want a George to have a legit opportunity, some of those guys ahead of them in those odds, and Scooble being one of them, go get after him tonight.
Yeah, I'll sell it. Also, I don't see him in the back row. I don't see it. He hasn't even been the best pitcher on the team.
Corbin Burns been pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the competition is great. Yep. Where those guys play is going to factor in. I love George. I love Logan. I don't see either of them winning the Cy Young Award this year.
All right, I have one last one for you here. Connor Williams is the Seahawks starting center week 1.
Ooh, week 1.
Week 1. Yeah, I mean, buy. It's a buy. Rock like a buy. It's a buy.
And he is coming off of, what, an ACL?
Yeah.
But he's going to be with the sports science people, so it's all fine. Do you not have enough respect for the sports science folks?
But
what? No, but he's going to be the starting center week 1. Of course he is.
So we got today is August 13th. We got 1, 2, 3 weeks and 5 days. First game September 8th, I believe. That's Sunday after Labor Day.
Yeah.
3.5 weeks. Okay, I'll buy it.
He tore his ACL week 14 last year.
Yep. I'm going to buy it.
Okay.
I'm going to buy it. Yeah, I'm going to buy it. And Olu with Timmy, you better get after it this week.
Well, sort of.
These 2 joint practices, like, no, you know what's coming. Like, if you're a young player like Olu.
And they traded away Nick Harris. You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere, but you want to maximize this opportunity. These joint practices will be big. The game, obviously, this weekend, maybe Olu doesn't even play in. So these 2 practices, then just 1 more game. But there he is. I forgot there is that extra week. And yeah, I think that there's enough time there.
If you were to ask a follow-up question to that, buy or sell, Oluwatimi starts at least 1 game for the Seahawks this year, I'll buy that sucker too. I think he will play. I think he'll be necessary, either because, a guard goes down and you end up moving this guy to guard and Oluwatimi slides into center. He will play this year. I feel pretty convinced of that. I just think that Connor Williams starts at center in week 1. So.
Yeah, and this guy can play guard too, and has played guard, played left guard, he's played right guard. So
That's
if
what I was saying. Yeah.
Olu just kills it though, like if Olu just maximizes and takes the bull by the hands or the horns.
I see what you mean. You move him over to, say, right guard instead of Bradford or Christian Haynes or whatever, and Olu steps into it. Yeah, that could very well happen as well. So, hey, fun show. That was kind of fun today.
That went really fast.
Yeah.
So do you want me to reach out to Book Shambi? We'll do
Book?
that.
Yes, I would love to talk. I mean, he was here Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I've talked to him before when I used to do the national stuff. He was great.
And then we're going to get Wyman right in the heat of the action.
I would think we need to. Yeah, that seems pretty
I mean,
obvious.
in his habitat.
Today's Thursday, right? The week's almost done? Is that true? Is our week almost over?
Today's Tuesday.
How is that possible? This week has been going on for months. How is it only Tuesday? I feel like it's got to be at least Thursday.
Because the summer sulk is just starting, huh?
That's true.
That's
wife and kids are on the plane as of right now. Summer sulk gets underway today. All right, stick around. Bump and Stacy are going to be coming your way next. And
the Mariners back at it tonight.
This afternoon, really.
Tomorrow afternoon. Thursday morning.
We're going to be in at 6 a.m. That'll be great. Can't wait to talk to you guys. Until then, the hay
is in the barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
The Mariners put some people on notice. If you haven't been paying attention.
You know who I hope was paying attention? Whoever's putting together these top 10 catcher lists over the last 2 seasons. Because over the last two seasons, when we've seen top 10 catcher lists, they have not included Cal Raleigh. Well, Cal Raleigh just became the first MLB catcher with 3 consecutive seasons of 25 or more home runs since Mike Piazza, or as they say in Italian, Curtis.
Mike Piazza.
Thank you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We all recognize that we have to work as a team and really be intentional in how we treat our customers and how we treat each other.
Working together. Lee Johnson employees understand what it takes to fulfill the purpose of their day.
I'm no more important than a salesperson. Even Randy. Randy is no more important than a salesperson, and Randy makes you know that every single day. You are valuable, that he couldn't do it without you. And I'm not saying we don't get frustrated. You try to remember that we are together. We are a team. Everyone respects everyone else's abilities and talent. And without that thought process, you're sunk. And gosh, why wouldn't you want to work for a company that instills that in you, right?
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Sinking or uneven concrete around your home? You need to call Matt Vey Foundation Repair.
Hi, I'm Matthew Cote with Matt Vey Foundation Repair. If you have an uneven, cracked driveway, sunken sidewalk, or sagging cement porch, we offer an easy and cost-effective solution.
When you call Matt Vey, you'll get a realistic bid, meticulous cleanup, and a lifetime warranty. No one else offers that kind of guarantee. For your free evaluation, call 8449-MATT-VEY or visit gomattvey.com.
Do it the right way, the Matt Vey way. Rock built, rock solid.
At Shane Company, we'll help you design an engagement ring as unique as your love story. We have the widest selection of diamonds and gemstones for you to choose from, and you can compare them side by side right here in our store. Only at Shane Company can you sift through exquisite diamonds, rubies, and a rainbow of sapphires in a variety of shapes and sizes. We'll help you create your dream engagement ring no matter